morning, Delaware Valley and beyond. Hope everybody's having a good Tuesday morning. An anticipatory Tuesday morning as we get ready for Sixers-Knicks Game 5. We are joined by our light of sunshine, Amy Fadul.
Hi, everybody.
She's got the y'all shirt on.
Yeah, tie-dye today.
Yeah. So Amy actually gave us an English lesson this morning when she came in.
Well, Southern English.
Southern English lesson. She says, she has a y'all shirt. And I said, oh, y'all. And she goes, yeah, you know what's plural for y'all? And I'm like, not exactly. She goes, it's all y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, y'all might be going, but what are all y'all doing?
That's right.
And I said, I just go by yous.
Also not a word, neither is y'all.
No. And actually, that's a word I never use. No. I cringe when family members say use. I do. I don't know why. I think it's my father in me. Raymond, how are you today, buddy?
I'm doing wonderful.
All
right,
right,
how
are
are you?
we going to shave, or is that a good luck beard? What do we got going? Because it seems like there's always a story behind the gruff that comes with
I just got back from a weekend away,
here we
so
go.
I've been a little
How long
lazy.
is this going to last?
I've been a little lazy with the shaving. I think I'm going to shave it. I'm running Broad Street this weekend, so I don't want to have a beard for that.
Oh, are you really?
Get a little too hot.
Perfect weather for Broad Street.
Yeah, it's going to be nice.
Well, it's going to be well, you don't want
Not
it
a
to
weather
be too
guy, so I
nice.
don't know.
No, you don't want it to be warm.
You want it to be cloudy, like mid. I think it's mid, like 50s.
Last year was
58.
kind of miserable to run it.
Oh,
in
yeah.
the cold
I was
rain.
down there at the finish line. I did not run it last year.
I'll be miserable.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But it'll be, no, it's wonderful.
It's a wonderful race. I just haven't trained.
Wait, you train every day that you run in here.
That's true. My sprint to make sure that Bob gets his race done. Thank you,
welcome.
Bob. Got me ready. You keep me in shape.
Yeah. How many have you done, Broad Streets?
This will be number 2.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
And you've done it?
I've done it twice.
Oh, nice. I'm the lazy one of the group. I volunteered there for like 17 years, though.
It's a wonder. I love it.
Yeah, so do I. It is such a great event. If you can get down there and check people out and cheer people on. Now,
not
I
at the beginning or the middle.
Yeah, I was talking to a buddy last night. It's starting a half hour early this year. It starts at like 7:30ish.
Yeah, 7:30.
And they're back to ending at the Navy Yard, which they did not do last year.
So the Phillies won't go until late in the afternoon. I think they don't start till maybe 4.
No, Sunday Night Baseball.
Yeah,
oh, that's Sunday Night Baseball. Okay, oh, well, that's perfect.
Even better.
Perfect. It doesn't get any better than that. All right, when we get into the stories, you know you can't do it until you see the front page headlines.
Now, the front page. The stories everyone's talking about. 97.5, The Fanatic.
All right, as we said, Game 5 tonight. It's do or die. 7 o'clock, Madison Square Garden. I heard the guys talking this morning about where are you with all this. I honest to God, I've been around this city for a while, associated with sports. I can't believe that fans are actually thinking of not watching this game.
No.
You have to watch it. Like, God forbid, not God forbid, Sixers win. Sixers win again on Thursday. Like, are you going to risk missing that? No. You never know what's going to happen in sports. That's the joy of sports to me. So, of course, we'll all be tuned in, not only because we have to be, but because we want to be. Have to make changes, the Sixers do, right? I don't know. This is a conversation we're going to have today because, one, the easy answer is, sure you do. You've lost 3 out of 4 games so far. Okay. The other comeback to that is, but they've all been really close, and you could be up 3-1. So why would you change anything drastic? Saw a story in the paper today. I believe it was our friend Keith Pompey saying that maybe you take a look at not starting Tobias Harris and bring him off the bench. We'll talk about it. I don't know if you go that drastic tonight. I understand it, but I'm also a little leery to it. So Amy and I will talk that out today. What is the biggest advantage the New York Knicks have tonight? It's besides being at Madison Square Garden. I'm talking just about on the floor. We'll take a look at that. Also, the Sixers' decided advantage obviously always will be and has been for years is Joel Embiid. Can they find another one tonight? And because I have a feeling there is one that they haven't exploited enough of. So we'll talk about all of that. Is the ask tonight of your 76ers too big for this team? All right, Kate Scott was on the morning show, and I kind of drummed this up in my head from that. You're going to ask the Sixers to do something tonight, and we all know what it is if we really think about it. But might it be just too much to ask of this specific team? Maybe it's not. So we'll take more of a look at it. If the Sixers win, Game 6, Thursday night, Wells Fargo Center, think about it. Look, I know most of people's minds are going to, oh, my God, they're going to lose tonight. It's going to be disappointing. Think if they don't.
Right.
Think if you get that win and you come back, and I know the disappointment of having New York fans in Wells Fargo Center or whatever, but think of a Thursday night. My favorite night of the week, Aim, because it's getting ready for the weekend. Mm-hmm. Imagine having a playoff game here on Thursday. Of course, you have to get through tonight, But let's think about that also. Your Phillies, they lost last night to the Los Angeles Angels, 6-5. Anaheim Angels, whoever the hell
Los
they are.
Angeles, L.A. Angels?
L.A. Angels
Los
now.
Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Well, it used to be of Anaheim. I don't know.
The
Whatever.
Angels.
That's where they play.
The Angels.
The team that has Mike Trout. Yeah. Well,
now.
the Phillies
LA.
lost 6-5 last night. Christopher Sanchez, he goes 5 innings, 4 earned runs. Not a great outing. Little disappointing that the Phillies didn't take bigger advantage of the guy Griffin Canning, who started for the Angels last night. He looked horrible. And he looks like I was thinking of you last night, Aim. I was going to text you to say he looks like a bad cop in a 1960s movie.
With his whole demeanor, too. Like, just his facial expressions.
Yeah.
It was
And
a bad, you went movie. I was going to say like a bad like sitcom type of thing.
Okay, yeah.
Or
Like the
made for
guy you don't like.
Yeah, the made-for-TV movie type.
The neighbor.
Very
That
low,
yeah,
low budget.
Yeah, exactly. But he was all over the place. I
Yeah,
think he
he's
had
terrible.
like 5 walks and 4 innings. But the Phillies didn't take as much advantage of him as you would like. Alec Boehm went 1 for 3, 3 more RBI. I think he's up to around 29, somewhere around that, hitting .364. Trey Turner goes 2 for 4, gets you 2 runs. He's up to .344. Nick Castellanos went 0 for 4 and is down to 173. Just seems a little bit lost. He didn't strike out last night, so there's a positive there. Just 6 hits for the Phillies last night, so the bats weren't really humming, even though they got 5 runs. Tonight, 9:38 start. Spencer Turnbull, 2-0 with a 1.33 ERA. So you got that going for you tonight. On the national front, Pacers at the Bucks. The Pacers can close this out. They're up 3-1 in this series, and I might have been talking to one of the Indiana people recently about what their chances may be, so maybe we'll take a little bit closer look at that, because when the Sixers win the next 3, the winner of that will be their next opponent.
Set up.
So you got to take a look. OKC over New Orleans last night. It's the first series win for Oklahoma City since 2016. They're a fun team to watch.
Yeah, they are.
I was back and forth between all the games last night. I was watching, stayed up, obviously watched the Phillies till the end. Also watched the Lakers, Denver. Great finish there. I didn't see the ending of that. I only caught up until like the halftime of that game. But LeBron, who was a big talk on the morning show today, 30 points, like 11 rebounds, 9 rebounds, 11 assists, only 1 turnover, 4 steals, 44 minutes.
Ridiculous.
That guy is, it's just.
Father Time, it's usually they say Father Time's undefeated.
Yeah.
Not against LeBron. He's
No,
not.
they're like still battling it out.
Exactly.
It's this is the
LeBron's
best line I
winning.
ever heard. Yeah, the longest prime of any athlete's career keeps going with LeBron James. So there you have it. That's our front page news for today, and the biggest headline of them all is your 76ers. So, Aim, I'll start out with this. Where's your confidence level for tonight? It seems like an obvious question, but no, you have to put it in this way, in this context. Yes, the Sixers are down 3-1. Yes, Sunday was really disappointing. But when you step back and you have to look at it, either team could have won every game in this series. Does that help your confidence level, or does it make you more frustrated? Like, yeah, you're right, but they've lost 3 or 4.
It makes me frustrated. It does help my confidence level. So you asked me this yesterday, and I wasn't there. I am confident. I'm not like supremely confident like I was going into Game 3, but I am confident. I mean, I don't know if I can put a numeric value on it. I can probably figure that out. But I feel good. I don't feel bad. I think I felt yesterday I didn't feel, not terrible, but I didn't feel great. I feel good. I feel good about this game.
I label it like 3 ways to look at it. They're going to win. They can win. They're going to lose. I think we're at the can win.
Can win.
They can win.
They can win.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's any. I think when you're asking about why you would have any kind of confidence and you can lean on those games that are frustrating, the one thing it did show you is that you are capable of winning on the road in this series. I think that's something that's important. It's not like you've gone into their building and been shellacked like when you see, I don't know, the Celtics come into Miami's arena and be like, okay, never mind, thanks for playing. So I think that the Sixers have proven they can win. I think that they showed, Joel Embiid took some flack for a lot of comments, but a comment he said like, hey, we're the 7th seed, we're not expected to win. And people thought about, why are you downplaying that? But I think he's trying to say, we're going to keep it loose. The pressure isn't on us, and teams that have that mentality tend to do better.
Yeah.
That's why you have underdogs come through, because they don't have anything to lose. They're going to play as free as possible, and I think he's trying to keep his team to play free as possible, not to tighten up and think, this is it, this is our season, because sometimes that can really permeate through your brain, and then you have a lot of mental miscues.
I thank the Boston Celtics for last night, because on Sunday, texting with a friend, and I said, he's like, Celtics, I don't know. This series could go 2-2. I said, no chance. They're favored by 10.5. I'll take the 10.5. I'll give the 10.5. And sure enough, they're just too good. And Porzingis goes out last night.
And he couldn't score. It's not like Jason Tatum had a brilliant game.
No, Derek White goes off for them last night.
But that's the thing. They always have somebody. But the Heat, without Jimmy Butler, they're really struggling on offense.
They are. Yeah. They are. And when you look more at it, Boston is just they're kind of a machine. You're looking at, Porzingis goes out, and maybe Tatum was on the bench. Their secondary players, they still run a very, very good, schematically good offense. They do what they have to do defensively. Seems like when they need offensive rebounds, they go and get it. Mm-hmm. It's just that's a tough team right there, and they play the right way. And so I brought it up a little bit, Aim, and we'll go deeper into it. We just got something here on the board from my man Ray Dunn.
Breaking sports news from 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Not something you want to hear on the day you could potentially be eliminated. But according to Keith Pompey of the Philadelphia Inquirer, Joel Embiid is not at shoot-around. He is questionable with a migraine. He's playing, but he's not at shoot-around, and that's more the story I take from this.
The poor guy, he said, if I'm not mistaken, he said he was having migraines before the Bell's palsy came on, right?
Right, and he thought that was one of the symptoms from it.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about, I'm not a doctor. I don't know if that can be, connected to, but I remember he said it was right before the Heat game or during the Heat game, he first started experiencing those, and then the Bell's palsy came through. Go in a dark room.
I know. Have you had them, or you have anybody? I don't have anybody directly around me.
My mom used to get really bad migraine.
Oh, did she?
Yeah. One of the treatments for them can be Botox. Fun fact.
Thank you for that, Abe. Appreciate it.
That's why people. Well,
What's that? Is that the stuff you shoot in your face?
Yeah. So but that's how they discovered that they don't have wrinkles, because people are getting treatments for the migraines.
Oh, that's what they say.
And, I think it was one of the first FDA approvals was migraines and sweating, but you can get it, and so they realized, oh wait, it also freezes the muscles, and so you have no wrinkles.
I had to get a nose job. I had a deviated septum.
Well, yes, you look for whatever.
Is it one of those things?
Maybe.
Oh God, it feels like last week. Weren't we sitting here last week and it came up on our board? Tyrese Maxey, not at shoot around, sick.
Yeah, and what happened then?
Yeah, he had 30-some. He was pretty good.
So there you go.
Yeah, I don't worry about that too much. I will say, man, you feel bad for Joel Embiid.
It stinks.
I mean, the other day I'm watching him on the floor and grabbing his eyelid to pull his eye down just so he can get some moisture in the eye because it can't blink.
Trying to rub his eye so he has, because there's no blinking there.
Yeah.
That's terrible. That is absolutely terrible. I can't imagine playing a sport where my eye won't function the way I want it to, as far as my eyelid.
No, I don't want to. I don't want to sit at home and watch TV when my eyelid isn't working. Yeah, that's best. So Joel Embiid has a migraine, not at shoot around today. Hopefully it goes away. I don't know a lot. We have some friends whose daughters have migraine issues. I've never experienced it. I don't think anybody that I'm really close to has, but it can be
debilitating.
Yeah, right?
It can be debilitating.
Oh, boy. Okay, so that's also what we have. All right, Aim, what I brought up earlier, and one thing I want to let people know, I should say. A.J. Brown is supposed to talk down at the Eagles complex, NovaCare complex, at 1:15 today. If he's on time, it all works out. We're probably going to carry that live for you here. It's the first time he's talking publicly about his contract extension. So we will carry that for you here at around the 1:15-ish hour. But I brought up, Aim, in the opening about, do you make drastic changes? You are in a do-or-die situation. You've played well enough to win games, but you haven't. That's the overriding factor. Do you make changes tonight? Do you make something, I don't want to say drastic, because nothing's really drastic right now. But
what would not starting Tobias Harris, would that qualify as drastic to you?
I guess
that seems a little drastic, right?
For a guy that hasn't not started in 8 years, yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. That is drastic.
But that I think is the only thought. The other ones are kind of minor tweaks here and there. Do you give Buddy Hield a shot? Do you just empty the chamber and be like, let's give whoever. You're not rebounding? All right, let's put Mo Bamba in. So I don't know if you go that far into the chamber, but yeah, it's interesting how they play this, and is it dictated by how the game is going? Do you start to really tweak with things if it's not going your way, or do you try to ride it out and maybe make one or two minor changes? I mean, not starting Tobias Harris, I know, while on its face seems like an easy move, that's a big drastic move.
You're
at this
right.
point
It
in the
is
season.
drastic.
I mean, I don't know what I would. I don't think I would do that. Even though it seems like, oh, that would be a big boost. I don't think it would be a boost. I think it would be maybe more detrimental for the starting lineup for those guys, or I guess it could have the effect hey, we got to pick up Tobias because he's not starting.
I guess.
I think it would. I just think it would have a negative effect.
Just doing something totally different, something you haven't done, is now the time to try it.
Not in Game 5.
I don't think I'm for that one. If you're talking about playing time more, I don't know, do you have campaign on the floor maybe more? And take Kyle Lowry off a little bit because you're looking for that spark, more of a spark offensively. And more of a spark, and nothing against Kyle Lowry. I know exactly what he is, and I appreciate it. But when campaign comes on the floor, you feel as a fan, when we're in the building, you can feel the energy because he exudes it.
He brings it, and he knows that he has to be that kind of microwave type of guy. I need to get my shots off quick. I need to make sure they're good shots. I need to work within, obviously, what they're giving me. But I'm here to score points, and he knows that. I appreciate that. That's why he had the 11 points in 16 minutes. That's why you see him, in that fourth quarter, comes in, puts up a couple of threes, makes a few of them, and you're thinking, all right, this is good. You can't have only him. I think that you do need to maybe experiment with Buddy Hield just at least once. I don't know that you sit him an entire game again if you're down.
Yeah. Yeah, if you need shots to be made also.
But you tell him, this is your job. Campaign knows his role. You need to know this is your role.
Yeah, get yourself open.
It's not cardio time. You're not running around for 11 minutes.
No, you're not. Now, my other change that I had thought of, Aim, was Nick Nurse was building Joel Embiid up when the games after he came back during the regular season, building up that conditioning and all that so that he could get back to his normal rotation, which was Joel Embiid on the floor for the first 12 minutes of the game. Joel Embiid sits for a couple minutes in the second quarter, plays the rest of the second quarter, plays all of the third, and then you see what the fourth is. As we know, Embiid played all 24 minutes of the second half on Sunday. There's been talk back and forth. He was gassed, shouldn't have done it. Maybe you should have rested him earlier so that if you were going to use him late, did it all play off of that Paul Reed just wasn't giving you good minutes. My change that I wondered in my head was this. Because it's earlier in the game and maybe, if it's closer, do you take Embiid out with 3 minutes to go in the first and give him that longer break there, see where the game is, hold him for the second like you normally do, maybe front load the rest as to hold it
the third quarter
for the third and maybe the fourth if you need it again. Could that be a change we see?
Yeah, I think that they have to probably see about, when you're watching that game again, especially the fourth quarter, which I did last night, and he was absolutely gassed.
Yeah.
He's just hanging out in the corner, and I guess my thought was why not just hang out under the basket? But whatever, that's that is in the past. We're moving forward. I would probably have a conversation with him, how were you actually feeling? Tell me exactly what was going on. Were you winded? You feel like you couldn't move at all? Do we need to scheme different things? Or do you think if we rest you earlier that you would have been able to? I think that that's the conversation that needs to be had, because if it's just something of I felt okay, I just was a little bit fatigued and I just didn't feel like I could run my sets or I couldn't roll when I needed to roll, then you need to worry about resting him. But if it was a little bit of no, I'm fine, I just thought that was going to be working better for whatever reason in the offense, then I think you need to think about different sets to put him up in, because if that's the case, then you do need to put him in the low post, because he couldn't jump it towards the end. We know that. He's never been a high flyer. It's not a guy that dunks all the time. You don't need him to when you're 7'2". I don't care. But you need to go up and get the rebounds, and you saw the lift just wasn't there, whether it's the knee, fatigue, both, I would think, at that point. So I think you really have to manage that more. I think you could see a little bit different as far as the timing of it. I would be, unless something drastic goes on, you need him the entire fourth quarter. I don't think that that's going to happen again.
Yeah, so we already presented the not-so-good news that Joel Embiid is not at shoot-around this morning. He's got a migraine. Do we have any more bad news, Ray, that we might want to share?
Now,
we do.
breaking sports news from 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Okay.
The
Thanks,
hits
Ray.
keep coming.
Yep.
This is all coming from Ray Dunn, everyone out there, just so
Blame
you
him.
know.
Yeah. According to Keith Pompey of the Philadelphia Inquirer, Kelly Oubre didn't feel well this morning and also is not at shoot-around. So there's 2 of your starting 5 not at shoot-around.
Well, as Amy said, in the beginning of the series, Tyrese Maxey wasn't feeling well, didn't make it to shoot-around, had a hell of a game. So maybe there's something to it.
It's like when you go to the golf course. I don't spend any time on the range before my round.
You don't have to. You're that good.
No, I don't want to waste any of my shots there.
Yeah, there you go.
It's actually not true because then I don't warm up actually on the course until like the back 9, and my score shows it. But
Well,
no,
that's because you get a little.
yeah, liquid courage.
Yeah, exactly. You said
I feel
it,
better.
Yeah.
I feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
At least I feel better about my game. Yeah, I mean, that's just you don't want to not have shoot around. It's obviously a nice way to warm up, but they are familiar with the Garden. I don't want to read too much into it. I don't like that people don't feel well. No one wants to play a game if you're not feeling well, whether it's migraines, stomach illness. Tyrese Maxey obviously.
Gastroenteritis.
Yes, he was very sick.
Yeah.
Taking medication up until fluids up until right before the game. So hopefully Oubre can get whatever fluids he needs. We have 8 hours, 9 hours until the game.
Yeah,
so.
we're good to go. Yeah.
To be fair to
Fingers
the rest
crossed.
of us, none of us feel that well right now. With
I
this
feel
team.
great.
I don't feel good about this.
You didn't feel good after game 2, though.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I thought you meant in general. How do we feel?
Yeah, no.
I feel
Like
great.
physically,
no,
I feel great.
No, I meant more mentally for us.
Oh.
Yeah. If we're
Okay.
talking about not feeling well.
I'm
not.
still
excited,
I'm
like-
still feeling positive.
That's good.
Not like overly positive, but I still have a decently good feeling.
So as we know, one of my big things is I love the way people watch games differently. I go into tonight looking to see, okay, who's going to seize the moment? Also, I have to look and say who's going to back away from it because this might tell a lot about your future to the 76ers. All right, when we get back, I want to put it out there to you. There is an ask of this Philadelphia 76ers tonight. Are they a team that can meet that ask? I want to hear what you have to say about it. 610-632-0975. I will tell you exactly what that ask is. I think you'll agree with me what the ask is. I want to know if you agree with me if they can do it or not. Midday shows, we have Amy Fadul all day today going up until 2 o'clock. Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. Hey, thanks for being with us here as we're at the 10:32 hour here on Middays. Amy Fadul with us all day long. Ray Dunn doing a fantastic job behind the glass producing, as he always does, with this shaggy beard going on. It's a good luck playoff beard, we thought, but the luck hasn't been all that great. So I think the biggest change we can ask for is for Ray to shave this afternoon.
That's
I'll do it.
I think.
All
Yeah,
right.
I think
For the city.
You need to. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good.
Do it for everyone, Ray. Do it for all mankind, I think is what we're asking. Hey, the 10 o'clock hour, it's brought to you by Window Nation. Take advantage of Window Nation's 50% off sale on all style windows. Plus, make no down payment with no payments and no interest for 12 full months. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. All right, Amy, I was listening to Kincade Salciunas this morning, and they had on the wonderful Kate Scott.
Yes.
And one of the subjects that was brought up was something that went into my head of, okay, this is something you need to ask of this team for tonight. You need, I think, for them to win or to come close to winning, you need for them to out-effort the New York Knicks.
I mean, yeah.
Fair enough?
I think that almost goes without saying, but it does need to be said because you did not have the same physicality that you showed in Game 2 and Game 3 that you had in Game 4. Just it wasn't there.
Right.
And it's not just, I mean, obviously, I think the most statistical version of that, of being physical, is rebounding, but there's other things to it. The steals, the deflections, things that don't necessarily show up. But when you're watching, that's when you and I talked about it yesterday. When you're watching that game, it didn't feel like the Sixers were winning. Even when they were, it didn't feel like it because I felt like every second chance, every 50-50 ball, even the little teeny things, it felt like the Knicks were playing harder.
And listen to your wording there. You didn't say the Knicks got most of them or more. You said every.
They feel like they got every – I mean, I'd have to
right?
look at it, but it felt like they got every 50-50 ball.
And I am not disagreeing with you even slightly. And that is an effort thing. And we're not – you can try hard, but another team tries harder. I'm not saying the Sixers didn't have effort. Their effort can be better.
Yeah.
It can be better.
And they've shown that it can be better. And I think that they would say that, especially in the fourth quarter and the crux of the game. That's when you really need to see it. And you saw it at times. But, yeah, the Knicks are 0 to 60 the entire game. And I think that's where the difference is. And I'm not saying that I don't know that the Sixers have to be that. They do have to dictate the energy of this game. They cannot let Jalen Brunson run the show again. That just cannot happen. You cannot have another 90-point game. That's not going to play in the Sixers' favor. You got to get them to out there and run. You cannot play in the half court. It's just not going to work to the Sixers' favor. But if you can be more physical and get some of those 50-50 balls, then you will dictate the pace of this one. And you saw that in Game 3.
So here's how I ask the question and why I ask it. It seems like an obvious answer. You know, the Sixers need more effort. 50-50 balls. All of those things we agree upon. The Knicks are playing tonight with a 3-1 lead. The Knicks are playing tonight at home at Madison Square Garden. The Knicks are playing tonight after their fans just kind of took over the Wells Fargo Center on Sunday. There is so much momentum going their way. And this is the question I pose to you guys. 610-632-0975. Is it too tall of an ask for this current team in the situation that I just laid out to out-effort the New York Knicks? If it's not, tell me how you do it. Tell me how you out-effort this Knicks team. Tell me where. Tell me how. Tell me what you need. All of those things, let us know. You can call 610-632-0975. You can text us at that very same number. I lean towards I don't know if they can do it. I lean towards I think it's too much of an ask because of the momentum that is on New York side. Look, 9 times out of 10, Tyrese Maxey races Josh Hart down the floor. I think he's going to win the race. If Josh Hart's racing him at Madison Square Garden tonight, would it shock me that he wins that race? I don't know. I don't know if it's too much of an ask.
I don't know. I mean, if you had to ask me how could they out-effort, I would think use the blueprint from the third quarter where you got Isaiah Hartenstein into foul trouble and keep that going. Really attack their bigs. Get those guys in foul trouble. OG Anunoby, obviously, offensively, the most contribution he had this whole series. But defensively, between he and Precious Achiuwa, really exploit that matchup. These guys are 6'7", 6'8". I feel like if you want to out-effort them, you need to take them out. And I don't mean take them out. I mean take them out of the game. Get them in.
Amy wants a sniper at Madison Square Garden.
I mean, obviously get them in foul trouble like you did Hartenstein, because then they went to the small ball lineup And then it was like, okay, let's keep on attacking. I think that's how you can out-effort them. You have to start kind of picking the players off one by one. Jalen Brunson is going to get his. He's on a streak right now that has not been seen as far as 86 points in 2 games that anybody's seen. It's just ridiculous. It's a Nick playoff record. That just shows you how much they've been in the playoffs recently anyway. So fine. Do that. Don't let anybody else get going. No Precious Achua, no OG Anunoby, no Isaiah Artenstein, no Josh Hart. Take everybody else away. You did that to an extent, but I think how you out-effort them is really attack those big guys, which aren't that big.
And it might not look like out-efforting. You know what I mean? When we think of out-efforting, loose ball, dive on the floor, you got it, you out-effort. No, like, you can out-effort them by playing smarter. Go to what your advantages are. He got 5 fouls on Hartenstein in that third quarter.
It was awesome.
And then they didn't post him up much at all in the fourth quarter. That was bad effort. Like, it's not running and out.
It wasn't smart.
It wasn't smart.
No.
And, doing what works best for you, you're making the effort to do what's best for you. I didn't think that they did it all that much on Sunday, especially in that fourth quarter. Joe in New Jersey wants to talk about Joel Embiid. Joe, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Yeah, how you doing this morning?
Good.
Morning, Joe.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, like Embiid, he's getting a lot of criticism. Probably some of it deserve it, but I blame management more than anything else. He plays with different starters every year, and I can't think of one personnel decision, be it a trade, a draft, or a free agent signing, other than Maxey, that's panned out for them. It reminds me of Barkley when he was near the end of his Sixer career. He was like basically a one-man gang.
Yeah, they've tried so many different people around him, right, Joe? I made a list about a year ago of like 16 or 17 prominent players that they've tried to bring in here with Joel Embiid. And we can go from Jimmy Butler to J.J. Redick and everybody in between and all of that. But you're right in the fact that they haven't really sustainably brought anybody in until kind of Tyrese Maxey.
And a lot of the guys that are like Nico Batum, he's played hard, and like last year, P.J. Tucker. But these guys' best years are all behind them.
Yeah,
no one on their team, like from the beginning of this process, like going back to, I guess, Ben Simmons, Markelle Fultz. They traded Mikal Bridges for some 6'5" power forward from Texas Tech.
Zaire.
Zaire Smith, right. But all their decisions, it's nothing pans out.
Yeah, no, you're right, Joe. Appreciate it. That's kind of a call that if things don't go well tonight, that I would expect tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like they haven't done this, they haven't done that.
Well, what do they need to build around? I think is
right.
That's a future conversation.
It is, and we talked about it a little bit yesterday.
That.
Yeah, we talked about this organization yesterday and about like they can't get over that winning hump right now, and they haven't been able to do it since Joel Embiid's been here. Yeah,
but everybody has to learn. I think that's the thing. Like the takeaway from that is the Heat didn't roll out of bed one day and be like, "Yep, we're winners." You have to create that, and it starts from the top and it permeates on down. You have to create that, and the Sixers are trying to, but you can't do it until you do it. You know what I mean? You can't learn how to win until you actually win.
You permeate it, you become it, then you try to hold on to it.
Right, exactly.
And that's kind of the circle of what sports is. And right now, like the best example you can probably give for me, San Antonio Spurs. They permeated it. They became it. Now they're trying to hold on to it. And you hit the lows after all the success they had. Like Brett Brown had a line to me one time. He's like, we just woke up before the season knowing we were going to roll out 60-plus wins. What a luxury.
Yeah.
But they did it in the right way. And I tell the story all the time. We were down in San Antonio one time, and the Sixers were in the process. I think it might have been the 10-win year. And the Spurs are up like 35 in the third quarter. And Tim Duncan grabs a rebound, outlets it, runs as hard as he can down the floor, gets the ball on the block, turns around, hits a little like 10-foot bank. Comes out a couple minutes later. After the game, I go to him. I'm like, Tim, you're up 35 points. Like, why? He goes, because we had to get our work in. That's what we do. That's how we play. Mm-hmm. That's a winning organization, a winning culture. That's something the Sixers are trying to get to that they haven't gotten to yet. And there's been a lot of things that have gone on. So we're asking today. The Sixers have an ask. They have to out-effort New York. I think maybe it's at the top of the list. You can put rebounding under the effort thing. I think it might be number one aim on the list of things you have to do tonight to win that game.
I would think rebounding for sure, and then I think don't kill yourself. right? You can't.
What do you mean by that? Don't
I mean,
kill yourself.
Like you don't make those mental errors where
Oh,
you're
okay.
turning the ball over because you can't have the self-inflicted wounds because they're going to take advantage, right? That kind of goes into the rebounding. Don't give them any opportunity, whether it's a second chance on a rebound or something that you've done yourself. An unnecessary foul, a bad charge, a turnover, things like that. I think that those go hand in hand. Just don't give them that extra opportunity.
How do you approach that as a coach? Because I think if you
can't like hammer it in because then it's in their brain, right? It's
that's
like,
exactly what I was going to say.
So it's like any coach that tells you like don't do this, the first thing you think of is like, oh wait, do I do that? I probably do that. Now I'm going to think about it. Now all I want to do is that. And it's like when you're like, again with the golf, you see the water. I don't want to go in the water. Yeah, your ball's probably going to go in the water now because that's all you thought about. So, but I think you have to try to keep them focused on the other things, and then just hope that it corrects itself. You know what I mean? Like you focus on making a good crisp pass. You don't say like, hey, make sure you make the really good pass, outlet pass, make sure everybody's there, make sure everybody's aware of the situation and whatever else. You don't say, make sure you don't turn the ball over.
It's one of the first things I learned in coaching. I'll never forget it. It was my first year coaching. I think we were up 1 or something late in the game, and I said, okay, if we make the foul shot, boom, 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 here's what we're going to do. If we miss the foul shot, I want this, that, and the other. I send the kids out on the court. The varsity coach after the game came to me and he said, loved your strategy. Loved it. However.
Don't say if you miss.
Say if you miss before,
right,
and
that's
then
the last
say
thing.
when you make, this is what we're going to do. Small little things like that, that was high school basketball, but I still think it rings true when you get to the NBA game. Okay, I have so many questions that I want to throw out to you guys today. Do you think that this ask of the Sixers tonight to out-effort New York is in them, or do you think it's too much of one? How do you feel in general about this game? Also, Amy and I had a conversation about the organization yesterday. At the 11 o'clock hour, I'm going to bring up another question about the organization that ties into tonight's game. A lot going on here. We got Amy Fadul all day long, which is just the ray of sunshine that you need.
Thanks.
This is Middays. Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. Welcome back. Thanks for being with us. Appreciate it here. Midday show. We got Amy Fadul with us all day long, which is just absolutely awesome. Amy, we were talking during the break there a little bit. You and I both have a couple of numbers that we kind of want to share with the people that maybe they haven't heard, maybe they had, but something you have to think about going into tonight's game.
Well, you know, we all know what Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid can do, and everybody's been looking for help. You know, help wanted signs being posted for the Sixers. This is just statistical. The Sixers are averaging 10.3 bench points a game in this series, so just over 10. That's the fewest of any team in the playoffs. It's also the fewest by any team in any playoff series since Denver faced the Spurs in 2007, and they averaged under 9.
Wow.
Just over 10. I mean, and obviously there's a reasons behind it because, you know, DeAnthony Melton, Buddy Hield has been either a DNP like last game or when he's out there, a non-factor.
Yeah.
And then Nico Batum, nothing like we saw certainly at parts of the season as far as offense goes. So it's been real. And another, obviously the playoff rotation is shorter, but the options are still there. It's not like you're going to have Paul Reed come in. And he's come in. He's not going to give you 10 points a game on average, but they're not even getting 3 points a game on average.
And you know what's disappointing about that, Aim, and this is probably a conversation we'll have should the season come to an end at some point. Did Nick Nurse not have a lot of time without his star player this season? Why is it that when he leaves the court that they're just like lost?
I think Ray brought that up yesterday.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's crazy. And I'll give you
You have
numbers.
2 months.
Now that we're numbers, 43, 127. Either one of you have a guess on that? 43,
I got it.
127.
43
Fadul's on it.
43 non-Embiid minutes minus 127?
127 minutes of Embiid playing in this series.
Yes.
They're a plus 43.
Oh, that's even better. I like that stat better.
How about 38 and 33? In the 33 minutes he hasn't played in this series,
Minus 30.
they're a minus 38. That hurts.
You should just go to everybody's locker, put help
I thought
wanted
you were-
signs.
Like, especially what Ray brought up yesterday, and I think it's going to be a bigger conversation down the road, Amy, when we're here. Like, how are you that?
A plus 41. A plus 41 and a minus 38.
How are
I'd
you
love
that
to see-
bad when you worked with this team for 2 months without Joel Embiid?
Do you think, I don't know. Is it the fact that the other players defer so much when he's out there that when he's not out there? Because it's a totally different
be.
thing. Because you know he's coming back.
It could be. That's
and
a
then
great question.
In the 2 months without him, he's not coming back. So we're having to create on her. I don't know. That's such a disparity.
Part of it is giving credit to the Knicks, too.
True,
Because this was
sure.
something we talked about before the series. I think Tobias had 25 points combined in the 4 games against the Knicks this year. Batum hadn't scored. Did not have a single point against them in the regular season. Yeah. So, like, they found ways to stop these guys earlier in the year. You hoped that Embiid coming back was some way. But, hey, if you got 5 minutes without Embiid, all right, everyone, remember the way to do it. Yeah, like, just do your thing for the next 5 minutes. That 5 minutes is going to win us the basketball game.
Yeah,
it's like white knuckle time.
It's craziness, and Don thinks he has an answer in South Philly. Don, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hello?
How you doing,
Hello.
buddy?
How you doing, man?
Great.
I think the Sixers would be better if I coach them. Nick Nurse can coach better than Doc Rivers.
Well, Doc Rivers isn't here, but you could coach better, Don, right?
Yes, I can because
What's your answer?
I will play Mobama, Kyle Lowry, Maxey, Embiid, and anybody else off the bench.
The bench has been averaging 10 points. Who off the
Yeah.
bench?
I put the boy Milton there since he came back. I give him a shot at it.
Yeah, he's not on the team. Thanks for the call, Don. Milton. He was going to put Milton
I think he
back
meant
in.
DeAnthony
Oh, he
Melton.
meant Melton. I thought he meant Shake Milton.
Who's on the Knicks and does not
Look,
play.
Don, I didn't mean to be short with you. I just, like, Mo Bamba's not the answer. You're going to play Mo Bamba with Joel Embiid. You haven't done it yet this year, but let's try it tonight.
Yeah,
Is that a change
you've
you're going to
seen
try?
very limited minutes with Paul Reed and Joel Embiid. Very limited. And I don't know that Mo Bamba is your answer in the playoffs of Game 5.
I appreciate what Don was saying, but listen to what he was saying.
People love the Mo Bamba, though.
So his first answers, and maybe this is just how desperate this team is, and this is nothing against Don. The first 2 names he brought up were Mo Bamba and DeAnthony Melton. Is that the desperation where you are?
That's maybe where Don is. I'm
Yeah,
not
could
there.
Be.
I'm not there.
Don, all due respect, buddy, love you, but I don't think I can call you a better coach than Nick Nurse when your first two names that you brought up to write this series are Mo Bamba and a hurt D'Anthony Melton.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of the chatter of like, is Nick Nurse actually a good coach? That's very confusing to me because I think he's shown that he can be. You can have a bad game. You can have schemes that maybe don't work or that are just not working in that instance. You also have to factor in that there's another coach on the other side who's also getting paid and has done a good job. So I'm not going to say, I think we talked about it yesterday. Obviously there's plenty of blame to go around. Nick Nurse is not absolved of that. I do not think he would absolve himself of that. They know they have to put the players in a better position to take something from Andy Reid. But I think that there's some thought of like the scheme at times has worked. I wouldn't say that he's a bad coach because it didn't work in the last game.
Yeah. I have confidence in Nick Nurse. I do. And look, I'm sorry, Don. I didn't mean to like rub you out and say, oh, you're done. Get that one. So I thought that maybe it was a troll. I thought Don was maybe trolling a little bit, so I got maybe a little quick.
Be interesting. Shake Milton is on the Knicks.
Yeah, I know. That's what I thought he was. That's
play.
where I thought he was going, like trying to be, a wise guy with Obama and Shake Milton. But he was probably talking to Anthony Melton.
Yeah,
so I may have made a mistake there, so I apologize. All right, here's my next big question for you that we're going to bring up on the 11 o'clock hour. We talked yesterday about where this organization is as far as being a winning organization. We talked about, look, over the last 7 years, a lot of things have lent to it not being a winning organization. We didn't say it's a loser. That's a four-letter word in my mind. A losing organization with all of the crazy stuff that has happened that we labeled yesterday. Could tonight help this team get towards being a winning organization? I'll explain more to it, and I'd love to hear your answers. All of you on the line, hold on. We will get back to you. Love to hear from you, 610-632-0975. This is Middays, Bob Cooney, 97.5, The Fanatic. It's a Sixers Tuesday. Game 5 tonight up in Madison Square Garden. We know everything that's ahead of them. Confidence level probably isn't very high among fans, I would say. I was surprised because it's not the way I think, but when the morning show brought it up, talking about, there's plenty of Sixers fans that won't even watch tonight.
No.
I feel bad for people like that. And I'm not being like, I feel like I do, because you
You'll
might
still
miss
watch.
something spectacular.
Yeah.
Like, if they lose, they lose. We've been through heartbreak. It sucks. We all know how much it sucks. But, like, you might be missing something pretty cool.
Yeah.
I always look at sports like that. You never know.
You never know.
You don't.
You never know. You never know what you're going to see. That's why you have to tune in and watch. That's why you're invested. That's why the fan comes from fanatic. Obviously, shameless plug for the radio show. But because you're so invested. That's why I think, like, the surface, like we were talking, the emotions are on the surface level because it's so raw. People are just, they want something nice, and they want to have it rewarded. They want their fandom rewarded.
Yeah, and so far this morning, we haven't gotten nice news. As it came out from Keith Pompey on his Twitter account up in New York, Joel Embiid did not go to shoot-around this morning as he has a migraine. Kelly Oubre did not go to shoot-around this morning because he's battling a sickness. So 2 of your starters couldn't make it to shoot-around today. Look, over the years, I've seen many guys not make a shoot-around, and it didn't really affect them during the game. Most recently, it was a week ago with Tyrese Maxey. Being out and then scoring. What do you have that game? Didn't he come out and score like the first 9
Yes,
for the
and we thought,
Sixers?
we're
and he
gonna
had
be
like,
okay.
Yeah, I think we'll be
37?
all right. So you hope that is the case for the Sixers tonight. Okay, the question that I'm putting out there now for the 11 o'clock hour. More than just winning or losing this game tonight, is this big? How big is this game moving forward for the organization? I think you're going to find out a lot of things about players tonight. Who grabs the situation by the throat and tries to excel at this time? Who maybe turtles it a little bit? Like, who do you – because you have a lot of openings. You have an empty canvas as far as next year goes, as far as who you're going to bring back. And there's plenty of people out there. There are Kelly Oubre's out there that you might be looking at, a Buddy Hield, a campaign. You have a lot of openings on this team that you're going to have to fill. Is tonight bigger – as big for this organization moving forward as it is just to keep this series going?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's obvious. I see what you're taking, like the macro. Like, we need to expand this out. Like, it's not just Game 5. It's the future.
Yeah.
Because there's only one player technically under contract, and that's Joel Embiid. So you have to look about it. Is this a tryout, so to speak? I mean, I think the whole thing has been a tryout. I think Game 5 is Game 5. I mean, I think Daryl Morey is probably looking at it in that macro because that's his job.
Yeah.
He has to. The front office has to look at the macro of it because they have to start looking around. Even if they, even when the Sixers, win this game and then if they keep on winning, at some point you always have to be considering that macro because the offseason is only, at this point, 1 game away, but it's always right around the corner, no matter what you look at it when the playoffs happen. So I think they being the front office is always looking at the big picture. Overall, for me as a fan, I'm not looking at it like that. I'm looking at just Game 5.
Right.
Let's get this win, go on to Thursday, and then, let the cookie crumble where it is.
Maybe the bigger question is this series?
Right. More emblematic of what you need.
Right.
Yeah, no, I think that's a fair question because I think you can look at this series. We talked about the bench points. You've talked about the role players. You look at what the Sixers, how they have built this roster, whether it's been through the draft or free agency, and then you look across the way, and I don't know that the players on the Knicks would translate necessarily here in the way that they've translated for the Knicks. I think that that's a system thing that the players match up. But if you just want to fit the Knicks players in the Knicks system, how they've built that team, and how can you take something away from that? Do you take something away from the role players that they got? How do they match those guys to the talent? I think you can look at the series and how it played out, no matter how it plays out, as something that you should look at when building your team. I think that's fair.
There's something to be said for what they talked on the morning show today about how much luck you have to have. And, you look at Jokic and where he was taken and different things like that and luck in a draft and all. I started to think, wow, the Knicks, and I said this the other day to Aim, that it might just be the perfect fit. These smart, good basketball players from Villanova going up and playing for a demanding coach in Tom Thibodeau, and maybe, just maybe, those two two, and I mean the Villanova kids and him, those two entities coming together, maybe that's what's made this really special.
A perfect storm almost.
Almost, yeah.
Because we talked about it, with Josh Hart, who had an opportunity either to be drafted here or certainly picked up in free agency. Would he become Josh Hart like we've seen in this series
Right.
here? I think he becomes Josh Hart because of Jalen Brunson. The relationship that they have, the familiarity certainly, but the recognition of, I know how that guy plays, I know how I need to play next to him, and I know what he asks of me. I'm not saying Josh Hart can't develop that with other players. He had a decent, couple of seasons when he was with the Lakers,
Yeah.
and then with the
Nice role
Trailblazers.
player.
Right, with the Pelicans. He showed that he could do that. But I think this level of Josh Hart is because it's been unlocked with who he's been surrounded with, meaning specifically Jalen Brunson. I don't know that would translate to any other team, not necessarily the Sixers, but to anybody else. Maybe it is just that special relationship they have. And the Sixers, you try to build that,
Right.
that one's already built in. I mean, there's nothing it's already built in. I think
Yeah.
that they're a match set.
Yeah, it's there's so much luck that goes into sports. It's nuts. Mindy in Chestnut Hill, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Mindy?
Hi. I was just wondering, what is Bob Thompson's love for Sir Anthony? Because every time he comes in, I feel like I have heart failure. I can't. I don't get it.
Well, you can't give up on him. I mean,
So
Sir
young.
Anthony, he's having a tough time right now. You can't just give up on him, right?
No, but last year he did too.
You're saying he went to him too much, or you didn't like the instances he went to him, Mindy? Both.
I just last year he did the same thing. Like he would put him in, and they could have won this game. And then I don't know. I just feel like I don't know. He had one good year, and the last 2 years has been bad.
Yeah, and thanks for the call, Mindy. Appreciate it. Sir Anthony didn't do real well last night. 1 inning pitch, 3 hits, 2 earned runs. Had a wild pitch where they get a run, and then Trout comes around and scores also on that.
Yeah.
I heard Kincade talking about it this morning, like he's got to learn when to put him in better. And then he brought up mop-up duty. You don't mop up all that much. You have to find out what he is. You
Right.
got to find out, can you get him back?
Can
and
he
if you
be that
can't, then
guy?
you got to make a decision.
Because he was a closer type or a setup guy, right? I mean, obviously he was the closer, and when I think she referenced when he had that good year, and we remember him in 2019 when he was first coming up. He was
Right.
just throwing the serious gas, and then he showed to be that closer type. But that's a completely different mentality. So you do need to find out, is he not that guy? Is he not the guy that can either be the setup man, which I think is a similar closer mentality, obviously no runs, or is he a guy that is an innings eater and can manage a couple? I mean, it depends. You hope that with the stuff that he has shown, that he is definitely more of a back-end bullpen guy.
Yeah, you hope it can come back. If he gets his stuff back that he had before, yeah, if you're going to go bullpen by committee, he would be a major part of it. He hasn't shown, as Mindy said, he hasn't shown it. It's starting to get to that concern time. But in April, in May, that's a time where I think, all right, you figure it out.
Yeah, this is when you can figure it out.
Yeah, it's tough to put him in a game that's a one-run game, and he lets up 2 bad runs and all of that. But I got to find out about a guy, and I want to find out about him in situations more than mop-up.
Yeah, because you can't.
Last night, I don't think.
Whoa,
Last night, I don't think was
whoa.
the time
Wow.
to put him in.
We got
Wow.
pushback here.
Sorry, last night in that game, it's 4-2. They bring in Kirkering for the biggest situation he's been in. It's like, okay,
Well,
that's probably
did not work out.
That did not work out. No. But Kirkering, at least, it was softer contact. It was stuff that, I can see why they tried to put him in that situation and, hey, let's see what he does. And, all right, maybe you do it. Sir Anthony has not been good enough for me where it's a tie game. When I thought they brought in Kirkering, I was like, wow, okay, that shows me they're going with him over Dominguez. And then it's a tie game, and you bring in Sir Anthony, who has not looked good. I didn't think last night was the situation. I don't think Strom's pitched in days. We haven't seen him. If we're going with a righty in that situation, Marte is right there in front of you,
there
who's
you
been
go.
better. I mean, he's just been better.
He has been.
He's the MVP of the National League.
To take the whole, we love Marte thing aside, he's just been a better pitcher. At that situation, tie game, if you can't go Hoffman because Hoffman went back-to-back days,
Right.
if I'm going righty, I'm going Marte. If you're just trying to get an arm in there, Strom hasn't pitched in days, I'm probably going Strom. I think that was last night. And again, it's a loss in April to the Angels
and
that I'm
maybe
not going to
that's
lose my
it.
mind over. That was if we're going Thompson decision-making last night, I don't like that one at all.
You didn't like that one.
Well, you also, you get down 6-5, you also go with Soto to pitch. You could question that. My God, here's a guy with almost an 80 RA. Why are you throwing him out there when you're only 1 run down? I think at times you just got to throw guys out there.
I guess, but for Soto, I think it's an inflated. He had one really bad, 5-run.
Yeah, Sir
like
Anthony just hasn't been
Sir Anthony
pitching
just
good.
hasn't been there. And I'm really concerned as to what it is with him. Kruk, last night on the broadcast, did a lot talk about confidence. I know there's been other discussion about him. They're trying to work on his grip for whether, some of the off-speed stuff, some of the breaking stuff to see if it works. The way he's spiking baseballs, I don't think he is right now comfortable out there on the mound with whatever they've been working through. And that's not a situation where a tie game, I'm looking to go. Again, this is their most successful April in however many years. We're not going to lose our mind over an April loss.
You're getting there.
But last night, I just saw Sir Anthony come out there. I was like, what? Why? Right now? Really?
I think your reaction was a little more than that, the way you're acting this morning. I think you were jumping up and down, stomping your feet.
Well, because when Kirk Green comes in, oh, wow, that's an indictment on where Dominguez is at. And it's okay, now the game's tied and you're bringing in Dominguez. What are we doing?
It wasn't an actual leverage situation because Kirkering had the higher leverage situation.
He had the lead.
I see what you're saying.
I mean, now you're tied, playing on the road, and you bring in Dominguez. It's
well, that's more of a hey, what do you got?
Okay. All right, we'll go there. Ray, we have some people that are checking in about the Sixers on the text board today. What do we have there?
Yeah, we got some people checking in. Your question about what the ask is from them. And Brian from Orlando says that he's looking for them. Can't look for them to out-effort them. He's only hoping they can outshoot them, which did not happen in Game 4. We went ice cold. He's not looking for the out-effort. He's looking to outshoot them.
I like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. You talk to any coach. I remember when I called one of the Big Five coaches after a game this year, and he's like, yeah, Coon, when the ball goes in the basket, I sure do look like a better coach,
much
don't
better,
I?
Isn't it?
Yeah, a good point by Brian, you said it was, right? Yeah, that's a good point. Ball goes in the basket, a lot of teams look better, but I still think effort's on the table with everything. But go ahead.
We got another one here. This is a first-time texter. They wanted to check in with this really positive, fun thought. They can do it tonight, but they've shown they can't do it for 3 games. Defeated mentality right there from our first-time texter there. 2 more people checking in with the thought of, you want the effort? Go with the young guys. This is becoming a running theme within the fan base. We got the Mobamba call, and now we're getting the calls for the KJ Bartons, the Ricky Councils. Of course, we got our obligatory bench bias text. This right now, if we're trying to gauge the temperature of the fan base, it is really desperate times of give me anything that's not what I've already seen.
Well,
look,
I get it. I get why they feel that way.
Yeah, but if you want to try to spin like we started the show with, I understand that. Like you said, Aim, totally understand that. But you can't forget that they could have won any of these 4 games. And there's a definite shoulda in there also.
Game 2.
Yeah. So, I don't know. That's why it's interesting of what might go on tonight. Mitch in Phoenix, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Mitch?
I know.
Hi, Mitch.
No, Mitch is gone.
Talking
Sorry,
to somebody
he had
else.
other things going on. Let's go, David in Ben Salem. You're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, David?
Hey, good morning, Bob. Good morning, Amy. 2 of my favorite people on the radio.
How you doing
Thanks,
today,
David.
buddy?
I love you guys, man. Now, give me a couple minutes. I'm going to go back, Bob. Me and you are older. We know. We know what the Sixers have done in the past, in the 70s, in the early 80s. All them years in the finals, and finally got the missing piece with Moses Malone. Maybe if this doesn't turn out the way it's going to turn out, this is going to have to be another franchise-changing moment.
Okay, how do you change it?
I know they talked about LeBron. I don't know if LeBron's going to come here. Who knows, man? But you just got to make the right moves, man. Then, as far as tonight's game goes, just go out there. The pressure's on the Knicks. They want to close it out. Just go out and play your game and try to win this game and get back to Philly on Thursday.
All right, let me ask you about that, David, real quick.
Sure.
Do you honestly believe that the pressure is more on the Knicks tonight than the Sixers?
I actually think it might be because, and hopefully Joel's going to play, whatever, with his migraine, and Kelly Oubre's going to, tough it out and get out there. Just do what you got to do, man. I've seen it, Bob. I've seen it all my life, man. In the 70s, when they lost all them finals, and then they were up 3-1 against Boston. They lost in 1981, right? And came back in 1982 and won.
Yeah, I remember it all, and all it took was bringing in.
I know you do, brother. I've been through this turmoil all my life, man, and I just want this team to win another championship for us. You guys are great. I love you. Let's just go out and see what happens tonight, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks,
good,
buddy.
David.
Appreciate it, David. Yeah, all that Sixers team had to do was go out and get the best player in the league to come in and play with. Hall of Famer Julius Erving, Hall of Famer Maurice Cheeks, Hall of Famer Bobby Jones, a guy that would have been a Hall of Famer in Andrew
That's
Toney.
how you build him, though.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing. That might have been 83, but you can say the same in 2024
Sure.
with
Yeah.
certain players. You look what the Suns did. Obviously, that didn't work out for them. But
It's funny a lot. Like Ray brought up with the emails or texts. I'm sorry that it's a time of desperation and people are calling for that. We're getting either desperation or we're getting looking to the future. We're not getting a
I'm
whole
in the
lot of
here and
looking
now.
towards tonight, and I'm
I'm
getting a
in the
little
here and
nervous
now.
about that.
I'm in the here and now.
Yeah, Terrell and Philly, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, how you guys doing today?
Great. How about you?
I'm a huge fan of both of you guys, so bear with me because this is mainly a fantasy thing, but I also hopefully that you guys use your insider knowledge to hopefully tell me that I'm not crazy for this, thinking this.
All
I
right.
got a way to fix the Sixers for the
Go ahead.
future. I seen on the draft coverage, I seen Jalen Daniels, and I even seen Bobby Wagner talk about how they use Magic Johnson to help recruit, Bobby Wagner free agency and Jalen Daniels or whatever, and the Commanders. I want to know how close is Josh Harris with Magic, and does he still work for the Lakers?
Magic's involved, I think, with every team out in Los Angeles
Yes.
and every entrepreneurship, anything that goes on in Los Angeles, Magic has a hand in.
There's not a chance
He would
that
not
Josh
be able
Harris
to-
and Magic Johnson are
No.
so close that he can help us. Magic can help us in Philadelphia.
No, I don't think. He
That's
is
a
one of the
different
most
entity.
successful businessmen in
It's
this
truly,
country.
It's truly amazing.
Yeah, and he's doing it all out in Los Angeles and building out from there. He's got ownership group in the Dodgers. Of course, he's in with
Yeah.
the Lakers.
No,
Yeah,
I'm only asking
yeah.
because he's helping DC and Josh Harris.
Yeah,
is
I
help-
think that
Oh yeah, he's there
he's
too.
not
You're
an
right,
actual
Tara, my
part of
fault.
the ownership of the Lakers anymore. I don't think he has like an executive role, but I think he still serves as like a liaison, an NBA
So you don't
ambassador
think
type
Josh
of thing.
Harris can use his, business relationship with Magic, trying to help
Who
us?
knows? Maybe you could leverage that.
Hell, I'd ask him to lunch for
right
sure,
now,
Taro,
it's
right?
not the worst idea.
Yeah, I mean, what the heck?
And I don't know how close they are. That's why I was asking. Do you think it's far fetched?
But they certainly are in on the ownership together.
Yeah, they are. And Terrell, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Yeah, look, anybody in
There's
business.
a winner.
Josh Harris didn't become worth $2.3 billion
Beyond successful.
without being really smart.
Yeah. And making smart business. I mean, he's obviously a gifted businessman. And
Yeah.
he knows when he pairs up with the right people. I mean, pairing up with Magic Johnson was obviously a win in that Commanders bid. And I think that they've had so much success in their ownership as well. I think that's part of being a good leader is recognizing you need other people around.
Yeah.
I've always thought that.
Look, I'm standing there with a photo op, and, you just bought the Commanders, and Magic has his arm around me, and I'm Josh Harris, and we're wearing maroon and yellow, and the photo op gets over, and you talk about the Washington Commanders. Yeah, I'm going, hey, Magic,
Hey.
can we grab some lunch at the local McDonald's?
Oh, tell me what.
And, what should I do with these Sixers?
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah,
As a person to pull your ear.
I can't imagine that a conversation has not been had or maybe hasn't been had many, many, many times. Terrell, I thought you were talking about Magic coming in here and being a part of the 76ers.
Right.
But, yeah, I would be shocked if Josh Harris hasn't had a couple of conversations.
Just a mention. Just a mention.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. All right, when we get back, we'll talk more about this Sixers-Knicks matchup tonight. Like I said, there's been a lot of desperation talk. You got to go to the young kids. You got to go to Mo Bamba, this, that, and the other. And then it's been a lot of, well, in the future, the Sixers need to do that. Well, let's concentrate on tonight a little bit. Like, what do you need to see tonight? When you've played a team 4 games in a row, there aren't too many surprises to be had. We all know that. But could there be something that you want the Sixers to do that they haven't done yet that you think might help them get over the hump of these New York Knicks? This is Middays. We have Amy Fadul here all day long. I'm Bob Cooney. We're here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Hey, everybody. Hope you're having a good Tuesday. About 11:30 here at the Fanatic. Game 5 tonight up in Madison Square Garden, 7 o'clock. I can't imagine not being excited for this game tonight or anxious or however, but having some feelings for this game tonight. I don't think much apathy has gone on. It was kind of talked about a little bit this morning with Kincade and Salciunas, but I can't imagine apathy. Like, you got to be there.
You got to.
Ray's giving me a side head. Like, he's got a different opinion. What, Ray?
I don't personally feel it, but I could tell you that I think if you don't think it exists, I think
I'm not saying it doesn't exist,
Yeah, okay,
but I
as
don't
long
think
as-
there's a lot of it.
People are.
I don't think there's a lot of it. There's more people saying they're apathetic that are actually not apathetic than apathy, right?
It's
the
like
false apathy.
Yeah, it's like
like
the
when you
I
have
don't
an
care, but
eclipse.
I'm gonna
I
look.
do.
It's like when you
No.
have an eclipse.
No.
Just what you said. You're going to look.
No, you're not.
There's an eclipse.
Stop. You're
Aim,
not gonna
I'm
look.
sorry. You're outside, and you go outside, and the eclipse is coming. Before you get your sun, you're going to glance up at the sun when the eclipse happens. That's what you do. And every caller that has called in here since we had this little rant back when the eclipse happened said, yeah, I did. I glanced up once
You
or
had
twice.
to.
What?
Oh, on
Amy,
my
you're
side.
killing me here.
Had to.
No, you're not supposed to look at it.
Oh, I know you're not
There's a lot of
supposed
things
to.
in life you're not
You're
supposed
not
to do,
supposed
but
to do that.
yeah,
Don't
that's,
look
that's
at it.
just silly.
You can glance. A little
You
glance
glance.
doesn't
No,
burn your
you're not
retina.
supposed to advise them to glance. There is no glance. There will be no glance.
Now, Jim G on our YouTube page just said, "Hey, Bob, love you, but how can we get excited?
Wait, because
It's a basketball
game 5.
game. Yeah, like I don't know. It's the release. Are you going to
Yeah,
be
maybe
disappointed if they
yeah.
lose? Absolutely,
You can-
totally understand it.
Anticipatory.
But you can't run away from your feelings, Aim.
Yeah, I mean, maybe excitement's too strong for him, but you can watch the game with some anticipation.
Yeah, somebody just said, "Yeah, Bob, I don't do that. I'm going to the dentist tonight."
Oh, see now that's
I don't know what to tell you. Now, look, I'm not going to begrudge you if you don't have it in you to watch the game. I understand. I've said this many times, and Aim, you said it last segment. Fan is short for fanatic. There are no rules for fandom in my book. If you want to be a fan that doesn't watch the team, okay, so be it. If it puts you in a bad mood and you start to treat your family poorly because you're so upset that they lost the game when you watch,
Yeah.
okay, good. And you don't want to watch it, don't watch it.
You
If
yell
you
at-
want to root for a team that's 3,000 miles away because when you grew up, purple and gold were your favorite colors, I'm not going to begrudge you that. I don't care. Like, rules to fandom, I have none. You do you. God bless you. Whatever works. But if you are a fan of the 76ers tonight, yeah, I don't want apathy. I don't really understand. If you're not watching because you get so upset, that's not apathy.
right.
So it's going to be interesting for tonight. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I don't know how to feel with this game, and I'm okay with that because they went into game 1, and I was asked a prediction on our pregame show, which we're going to have tonight, by the way, from 6 to 6:50. Take you right up to Sixers with me, D. Lynham, and my identical twin cousin, Kevin Cooney. That'll be happening tonight. But I said it before game 1 and 2 and 3. I didn't want to give predictions because I said before the series started that if a team had me concerned in a matchup with the Sixers, out of 5, the Knicks were a 4.5 in my book. I feel the same way tonight. I just don't know. I really don't. I don't expect a Game 7 Boston Celtics
Agreed.
effort tonight.
Yeah, we talked about that yesterday. I don't expect them to come out flat. I expect them to come out. There's the thought that you come out looser because you don't have anything to lose. And there was a previous caller that he called and said that the Knicks have more to
Pressure.
lose, more
Yeah,
pressure.
What, David said that. What do you think of that, Aim? Yes or no?
Well, it was interesting because I think on its face you're thinking no, that they're in the driver's seat. They're 3-1, but the Knicks also don't have a lot of experience winning playoff series. They've won 2 playoff series in the last 25 years.
Is that what it is, really?
Yeah, since 1999-2000, and they haven't won a home playoff series since 90 or a playoff series on their home court since '99. So it's been a hot minute. Granted, that's a completely different team, and I don't know how much that carries over. You're looking at 20 years ago, and these guys some of them weren't even alive.
Yeah, right.
Much less, playing basketball at any kind of level. So I don't know how much that factors into it. But yeah, they do have a little carryover from at least last year, and where they probably felt like they didn't know how to win. I think that there's some pressure. I don't know if it's more pressure, but I think there is some pressure on them to close it out at home. They don't want to go back down to Philadelphia, regardless of what people are going to say, what the fans look like, and what the arena will look like. No one wants to go on the road. You want to go ahead and take care of business at home. So there is some pressure on the Knicks.
Yeah, we don't know what it feels like up in New York. You know, we know this series, but we don't know what they're feeling up there as far as, oh, man, you know, we haven't been able to do this in 20-plus years. Is this the team? Or maybe it's the overriding, oh, no, this is it.
Yeah.
This is the team. They're going to be crazy up there tonight. Sixers will have to be ready for it. A good start is important.
Yeah, take them out of the building.
Yeah, you can't have that. And I'll tell you what, that's one thing I have noticed about Knicks fans. When they are down 10 or 13, 14, they're waiting. They're not they're not trying to encourage the comeback. They're just waiting for it.
They're quiet.
Then they're unbelievably boisterous. I'll give them credit there, yeah. But a good beginning, obviously, is something the Sixers will want tonight. Mitch in Phoenix, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Mitch, what's going on?
Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't expect to get back on right away, right after a commercial, but that's good. The process is over. The experiment is over. This is my trade for the 76ers. They trade Joel Embiid to the Phoenix Suns for Booker and a couple of draft choices. We need to move on from Joel Embiid. It's over with.
Thanks for the call, Mitch. That's a moving on for the sake of moving on. You said yesterday about Devin Booker. Was it you said it, or was I talking to somebody else?
I did.
What did you say? Tell the people what you said.
Not a winner.
Not a winner.
Look, they've tried to surround him with a bunch of different players. A lot of different. They brought in Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal and used 8 first-round draft picks to get those guys in there to help Devin Booker, and they just got swept in the first round. Devin Booker, great player. I think that he has the potential to be a really high-level winning type of player. He has not shown it yet. He needs a lot of help. You brought in, I don't think Bradley Beal's the answer. I never did. But Kevin Durant, I mean, they got swept. They were never even in those games.
No. Look, and I've said this before.
Swept by the Timberwolves.
It is almost impossible in this league, with a very few exceptions, to build a championship team around a smaller guard, a shooting guard. We know what the exceptions are, but usually it's not that you're building around. A piece that you add, absolutely. But building around, no. And Mitch, we know you're from Phoenix, so that's what you're familiar with.
Devin Booker, tremendous player.
Yeah, no question.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And on this team, you would have so many points, but who's in the middle? Okay, you're drafting there's not a free agent out there that's a center.
Yeah.
That's going to equate to Joel Embiid. There's not, certainly the draft is a down year for anybody. That we can talk about the draft in June, but
sure,
it's not a great draft.
And it's not a great draft because a lot of us don't know who the hell these kids are anymore.
There's some foreign players. There's some one and done.
Oh, this 18-year-old is phenomenal that's playing over in France.
Yeah.
Look, sure. I'm sorry. I'm not watching a lot of, you're going to have to talk to Euro John about that or whatever. But Charles in Baltimore, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's going on, Charles?
Hey, guys. Good afternoon. So I'm a passive fan, and I mean passive as passive can be. I'm so tired of hearing critiques about the fans who've had to sit through and watch that putrid product for decades now. The last time this team has been anything successful, I was in elementary school. So please, I don't want to hear from millionaires criticizing fans. I don't want to hear from radio shows criticizing fans. I don't want to hear any of that. I think at the end of the day, the fans in Philadelphia, I've lived in 5 different states now in 10 years. The fans in Philadelphia are great, give the teams way more loyalty than they deserve. And the last thing, I'm sorry, Amy, I guess I kind of respect your take, but if Booker's not a winner, Joel Embiid's not a winner either. The guy's a regular season success story. He's a playoff bumble.
You don't have to apologize to Amy, Charles, because we brought that up yesterday. We brought up that he hung up.
Charles
I guess he didn't want to listen to what I had to say. Right. But we brought that up yesterday, that the question is Joel Embiid a winner? I had a friend call me and say on Sunday, oh, he's a loser, and it was out of what happened on Sunday's game. We talked it out for 15 minutes. We ended the conversation by saying he's not a winner yet. We didn't, come on, and he's talking about the fan. We did not for 4 hours yesterday. For 4 hours yesterday of a show with me and you.
We didn't talk about that
We did
at all.
not talk about that at all, and I don't care about it at all.
Because to me, it was a non-issue.
It is a non-issue. He's asked a question, he answered it. Like, what's he going to say? No comment? Like, I don't. Yeah. I really don't.
You and I had no issue with that. I don't think that anybody. The thing is, you take clips from that, you leave out parts of it. Oh, where he says, "I love the fans," whatever. It can be disappointing that the building is taken over. I think that's a fair statement by anybody. You could ask literally anybody. Was it disappointing to find that your home arena had more fans, it sounded like? Yeah, that's disappointing. That's a fact.
Yeah, exactly. So
I don't think anybody said that they were.
No, Tyrone was having some fun.
The fans.
Yeah, Tyrone was having some fun with it yesterday on the best show ever.
Yeah.
And I was in the car. I think I was picking my son up, and he was talking about how upset he was that the morning show. I'm paraphrasing, and I'm not putting anybody down there, but Tyrone was saying he was upset that I think John in particular was putting down Embiid for saying something about the fans. So I heard that, I was laughing, whatever. I had some things I had to do, blah, blah, blah. I get in the car later on to run to the store to get something, and I hear him saying, that's it, I'm out on everybody, except for Pat Egan, except for Dylan, except for Amy. I'm out on the whole morning show. I'm out on Bob Cooney. I'm out on...
Oh, he's out on you
Yeah.
now.
So I was laughing. I'm in the car laughing, and so I text, and I go, what the hell are you mad at me for? What did I do? Whatever. It's all fun. And he said, for what you said about Embiid, blah, blah, blah. And I said, dude, we had a 4-hour show. We didn't even bring it up about Embiid and the fans. And I said, oh, wait, are you talking about the Instagram thing that we do for 5 seconds with Dylan?
Oh, yeah.
Dylan McKinnon comes to us with his phone, and I tease him every day about it. And he says, hey, I need your thoughts on Embiid and the fans. And I gave him like a 5-second answer, which I don't even really remember what I said. I usually goof around. That was when the big fatties came up.
Yes, it was.
All of those things. So I said to Tyrone, I said, dude, I don't even know what I said to him. Look, the proof is in for 4 hours I didn't talk about, and Amy and I did not talk about Joel Embiid and the fans. Because, quite frankly, and I'm going to use a phrase that my friend Joey Merton likes, I don't give a rat's ass. Yeah. I really don't. When it comes to winning basketball games, it doesn't really matter to me how the players feel about fans in the stands.
Well, he answered the question
That's
as it was asked. I don't know. I get that people thought he was calling the fans out, but the thing is, on all the replies of all the Knicks fans and all the postings on social media, the number one replies are like, how does this happen? How can we sell our tickets? So there was a lot of people on his side.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just didn't have a problem with it.
No, there's capitalism involved. I might have a friend who has a sister that is a season ticket holder, and she got offered an unbelievable amount of money for her 2 tickets. Some people, at this station love capitalism. Well, there it is. You're going to make a ton of money. I don't know if she asked where they were from or not, but so be it. You say, Ray, that we have a fun stat about a quick start?
Yeah, you mentioned imperative to get off to a quick start.
I think it is, yeah.
In this series, the 76ers have led after the first quarter in 3 games. They are
the one they didn't, they won.
And 3.
Are you serious?
Leading after the first quarter.
No quick start today.
Yeah, but by quick start, and I think Amy and I were on the same page when we said that.
I know what you meant.
You can't be out of the game.
Right.
Like you can't win the game in the first quarter. You sure as hell can lose it.
Oh, absolutely.
And
it's
that
just
can't
funny
happen tonight.
It is funny.
They've had 3 leads in the first quarter. And the game they won, they trailed by 2 after the first.
Get a couple of good shots.
Yeah. So we'll
Get the
see how
energy
it all
going.
plays
Momentum.
out now.
The rhythm.
Yes, find a rhythm.
To remind everybody, if you weren't with us earlier, not the greatest of news. Joel Embiid was not at shoot-around this morning up in New York as he is battling a migraine, nor was Kelly Oubre, who is, I would assume, still back at the hotel battling a sickness. So if we get any updates on them, I don't assume we will. I'm sure it'll go up until game time, until we find out if we see them out on the floor. But hopefully those guys will be feeling better. Okay, when we get back, we got to look at the ins and outs of it. This isn't just a game to say, it's Knicks Sixers, let's see what happens. There was some differences in Sunday's losses that the Sixers are going to have to avoid tonight. We'll dive a little bit deeper into what those may be. That and a whole lot more. A lot of Sixers, Knicks talks with Amy Fadul all day long. I'm Bob Cooney. This is 97.5 The Fanatic. back to Middays. Hope you're having a good Tuesday. Another nice, warm day. Lots of shorts and short sleeve shirts in the building, y'all.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Y'all?
Be.
Yeah.
Right, y'all.
I can't get used to the Connor Thomases, and Brendan Gunn has slipped into it a little bit with the
mullet?
No, the thigh-high shorts.
The short shorts? They're not really short shorts, though. Do you think they're just too short? I think Andrew said they were inappropriate for work length.
I mean, they're up there.
They're past fingertip.
What does that mean?
Like,
you
went to Catholic school, right?
Yeah, with the oh.
You
I just stood up, so you can.
Yeah,
people out there know
the length. Yeah, you got to go fingertips.
Length.
Yeah, it's got to be past your fingers. Listen, Connor, it's getting short. I do notice B. Gunn is slowly, the shorts becoming a little shorter. I don't know if it's something about that role. If that role like starts to make that happen for you, where you just spend
that
time
role
back
of
there
being
in the morning.
on the morning show.
Well, no, the associate producer of the morning
Andrew?
show. I know. I think it's associate producer of the morning show because Connor was that before he was in this studio.
Oh, yes.
I think it's something that happens back there when you're answering phones at 6 in the morning.
What is the look of the midday, producer?
Yeah, what do you got
I didn't really get any advice from Andrew on that one.
Well, then you're setting the tone then.
Are you wearing shorts today?
I am wearing shorts today.
Okay. Yeah, look, there's something in fashion that should never come back. Like some things that should never come back. Like I was always what was it when I would see pictures of hippies in the 70s? Like bell-bottom jeans.
They've already been back. They've been back multiple times.
I always thought they shouldn't have.
They call them flare now.
Yeah, I don't like them.
Okay.
Like my daughter has a few pairs of them, and I don't know. I just don't like them all that much. Well, yeah, don't like the flares. What else? There's probably listen to me.
It's all
and like I'm a fashion plate,
it's
right?
All coming back.
I want the oversized suit back. Like the early
Carmelo
2000s, yeah, Carmelo. I want the oversized suits back.
Yeah,
with the coat hangers in the shoulders.
Yeah.
That's like the dynasty look. No, we always talk about. There's a guy. It was Mike Green. I think he played for St. Bonaventure. That famous look of like the baggy shorts. You know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what picture.
Oh my God, he was a little kid, right?
Yeah, but his shorts went down to his ankles. Like that. Those days, I think, are not. That's not going to come.
I don't like those. I didn't like. It was towards the tail end of when my son was playing. His year at LaSalle that the kids were rolling up at the waist the shorts to make them shorter. Now they weren't the overly baggy shorts. They were, normal shorts.
They like them short now, though.
But now they like them short, so the short is coming back.
Not like John Stockton short, but short.
So it was funny. I don't think you were around. My wife was cleaning up about a month or so ago, came across my my scrapbook. So my dad made me a script. My dad got sick my senior year of high school. And when he was convalescing, I didn't know he was clipping out, all the highlights of whatever. Every single game from freshman to senior year, every box score, every story, every time my name was in like everything. He clipped it out, made a beautiful scrapbook that I still have. And my wife found it. And to look at I might have one on my phone because my friend sent me one. To look at the shorts that we were in, like, not only were they short shorts, they got us new uniforms like my junior. They were see-through. The shorts were absolutely see-through.
It's a lot of information for us right now.
Don't think for a little Bobby Cooney that was a good thing. It was kind of embarrassing, but it is what it is.
I'm not touching. No.
Yeah, not many people would.
No.
So anyway,
not gonna go there.
How do you design a Sixers win tonight, Aim?
There you go. There's our fashion foray into designing it.
See, look at him.
He's gone.
He's gone.
Yeah, because
look at his face.
We all know what you just said, and I'm not going to repeat it, but that's okay.
Yeah. He cracks himself up, which is good.
But to get back on task,
yes, please.
I mentioned the one thing. I think you go at their big men. You take them completely out of the equation. I think you get them all in and I think that's a group effort. Whoever's in. Obviously, if it's Joel Embiid, there you go. But I think everybody tries to take those guys out of the equation. OG Anunoby. Precious Achua, certainly Isaiah Hartenstein. I think take them out of the equation. Get them into foul trouble because that was the one thing that was a lot different. The fouls were more even as far as how they were called in Game 3 and Game 3 to Game 4. But Joel Embiid went to the free throw line 21 times, made 19 of them.
Yep.
It was 12 or 14 last game. So I want to see him, and then he always is. And Thibodeau said it. We played the sound before the series. I'm a free throw monger. Yeah. Then do that. They know that about you, yet they can't stop it. Every time you go inside, you're going to draw the foul. It's just inevitable, just because that's how Joel Embiid plays, which I love.
And the Sixers could again have a real decisive advantage in that two of New York's top subs, might be out again. I don't think Bogdanovich. So he's battling a wrist injury, right?
Yes.
That has to get surgery after the season's over. When he went down the other night, so Nick Batum dives for a ball and rolls Bogdanovich's ankle.
Right.
He has to leave. He goes off. But did you notice when he was walking off, he's also holding his wrist?
Yeah.
So he's like limping and holding his wrist at the same time. I'd be surprised if he's back tonight. In Mitchell Robinson, I don't know what the deal is. He went out to warm up the other day. We all thought, oh, he's out there warming up. He's going to play out.
Yeah.
Like, those are two huge advantages for the Sixers, and they didn't take advantage of them on Sunday.
Yeah, they only had two guys. They rolled over there with basically two substitutes the entire game.
Deuce and
Achua.
Achua, yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah.
And who contributed in various ways. Obviously, we know about the offensive rebounds from Precious Achua and the blocks and the defensive presence, I thought was really – so you have to take that element out of it. Plus those blocks and that defensive effort, that really goes a long way in a lot of things. Certainly with the crowd and the momentum, we can talk about that. But it goes a long way in creating offense for your team, that defense into offense. And that's something we haven't seen the Sixers do consistently. They have the capability to do that. Match the Knicks on that level. When we talk about matching the intensity and the physicality, match them at that level, match them at the rebounding, but match them in their defensive presence. Kelly Oubre is a great guy for steals. He's a big energy guy. So let's see a little bit of that so you can turn the defense into offense. I think that's one of the things. The rebounding goes without saying. But for me, it's just about taking guys out of the equation and take everybody else that you can out of the equation. Defensively, I don't know what the answer is on Jalen Brunson because the first two games it worked well. I don't know that I think the cat's out of the bag on that one.
So maybe a ray of sunshine for the Sixers on that defense that you're talking about, Aim. Josh Hart shot really poorly on Sunday, and we all thought, like you kept bringing it up, it's an anomaly that he's made 4 threes in the first 3 games of this series. He hadn't done it all year, and he does that. Jimmy Lynam brought it up to me when I was talking to him about something like, nah, you're not going to keep seeing that. I'd rather take my chances. Like, not. It's going to fall back down to his average. It appears to have done so. He went 0 for 7 last game. Mm-hmm. He wasn't there offensively. He got you 17 rebounds. He was a big part of the game. Do you maybe have guys leave guys and try to double team Jalen Brunson and jump him?
You go back to games 1 and games 2, which is what they did. That was the defensive philosophy. They limited him to 22 points each time, 22 and maybe 23. He was like 8 for 26 and 8 for 29.
Yeah, 29% in the first 2 games.
That's what you want. And he shot very poorly from 3 as well. So I think you really do have that considerable, much more defensive presence on him. To the detriment of, we saw Deuce McBride go crazy, Josh Hart. I think you play your cards on that one. This is all or nothing. Your backs are literally against the wall, and that's what you have to limit him. You're not going to stop him. It's not going to happen. The cat is out of the bag. The kid is here to play. We know that. He's had 86 points in 2 games, for Pete's sake. But I feel like if you limit him, you keep him under 30, because that's where we're at right now. He was 48% of their offensive points, and if you add in his 10 assists, it's like 54% of everything that they score. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You gotta limit him in some way. Keep him under 30, and then if you gang tackle everybody else as far as the big men, I think that's a recipe for success.
So, if you look at it on the surface, the Sixers did hold the Knicks to 97 points on Sunday. In most cases, you might be happy with that defensive effort. However, what Amy just brought up, you had one guy beat you. You had one guy just absolutely destroy you and control that game. So let's look at that. How may the Sixers approach defensively differently? Or they hold them to 97, as I just said. Is it more of an offensive look, the way you have to change the game if you're the Philadelphia 76ers? We'll get into all that. Amy's here until 2 o'clock. This is Middays. Bob Cooney, 97.5, The Fanatic. The noon hour midday shows. Happy afternoon to all of you. Hope you're having a great day. Hope you're anticipating some fun watching a basketball game tonight. Could be. I don't know. People look for outside things to try to win a game, like, oh, they do really well when I wear these color sneakers or whatever. Ray, you have a uniform thing?
Yeah, we got fun from the text line here. Someone checking in. Speaking of fashion and working in the Sixers, during this playoff series, they are 0-3 in the red uniforms, and they are 1-0 in the blue uniforms.
So I'm so glad someone brought that up. So we were very anticipatory for what they will be rocking in Game 4.
Where are you now?
Everybody, because we had noticed in our newsroom at NBC Sports Philadelphia that the red was not favorable.
My favorite Sixer uniform of all time, but so go ahead.
Is the red one?
Is red, yes.
Well, that says a lot. That they're
I'm a loser.
0-3. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Maybe.
No,
Well, that's
not a
before
loser.
You're losing.
A losing fashion guy.
Yes. Well, that goes without saying.
Thank you.
There
I
we
feel
go.
like
See, you've transferred us.
I appreciate you.
Even he didn't catch the
They
dig.
didn't
though.
catch that at
That's
all.
fine.
Oh, I didn't. I have to
So,
do this.
Why is it radio?
The mantra when we saw the red was like first half red, second half dead. And it was first half. And I was like, no, don't let it be happening. And it did.
Wow. That's chilling, honestly.
Well, it rhymed. That was the only thing that they could come up with rhyme.
I
This
mean,
was just
it
like
works.
It was a group effort.
Yeah, I mean, that works.
Well, the good news
So-
is they're not going to wear the red tonight.
How do you know?
It's been a home red, I thought.
Well, it can't be if they're 0-3.
Oh, yeah, it's
in the
0-3.
reds. Yeah.
Do you think they know that?
Do
Feel
they know
good,
what
play
they're
good,
wearing?
look good, play good.
Thank you. Is that Dion?
I think that's the
yeah.
yeah.
And then play good, they pay good.
Yeah. Well, I
Continue.
didn't get
think
to
he
that
had-
point.
I think he had it on the back of his wall. Dion Sanders did. Back of his wall at Colorado.
I was going to text somebody to find out what color uniforms.
Well,
maybe
it's always a big reveal because you don't know because you can't see under the warm-ups until they take them off. I don't know that they know that.
But
Do you think
some
that they
people
know?
inside the organization
They
have
should
to
know.
what color
Somebody
it
has
is,
to be
yeah.
there.
Our old friend Scotty Rigo would know.
What did they wore the Blues, right? They're the brotherly love in the win on Game 3. Joel Embiid, I feel like he dropped 50
Yeah.
in the brotherly love.
Brotherly love. I'll be honest, I can't. Blue uniforms is all I got from the text line. I can't remember what it was. But 0-3 in the red uniforms. Anything.
That's easy to
Literally
find out.
anything. I mean, bring back the gray ones from a couple years ago. Anything
I
but the
didn't
red
mind them.
right now.
Yeah, they
Anything
were
but the
all right.
red.
Amy, I tell the story a lot. I could have covered a game and written a story, 2 stories
You don't know what they
about the
wore.
game. And if somebody came up to me and said, what color uniforms Sixers wear tonight? No idea.
Yeah.
Like, I am not good at that stuff. Like the Phillies uniforms, those city class, they stick out a little bit. I do remember them.
Well, it's hard to forget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like those. I'm in the severe minority. I feel like that I like those.
Well, Pancake came down yesterday. Now, he's a producer down at our sister station, WMMR. And Pancake, who makes hats and
Yeah.
is very into the uniform wearing thing, he came down with his, what do you call it, City Series
City
jersey,
Connect. Yeah.
City Connect jersey yesterday. Yeah, the more I see it in person, the more I like.
It's fresh.
Yeah, I would have liked it better with white pants.
Really?
The pants
It's
definitely
too
do.
much. That's a softball uniform.
So that's like an ombre look, right? It starts. That's where the colors bleed into each other. Yeah. You know.
I'll pass.
Okay.
I think, though,
We've had a lot of fashion talk right now.
I
I'm using
realize,
words like ombre.
and this will be the last thing I
Not a
think
real
we do
good
on fashion
crowd
today.
like me being in on it, but.
I think everyone is conditioned to hate their City Connect jerseys because we were.
The Atlanta Braves City Connect, you can't hate on that.
I'll be honest, I don't know which.
It's an old
how
school.
theirs
It's
look.
like it's a Hank Aaron throwback.
Okay, yeah, that probably works. That'll play. For me, being out there and listening to everyone talk about the Padres City Connect, they all hate it, and I was like, highlighter thing. I don't know. I kind of saw it with I like the pullover jackets for the bullpen guys more than I like the actual uniform itself.
Yes.
But I think everyone is like, what does this have to do with our city? Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
And then you look at someone else's and you're like, that's not that bad.
Yeah, that
Something
maybe is
different.
it. He did have just the regular blues on. I just put up a picture. Regular
the
blues
win.
for the win.
When he had 50.
50, the regular
Okay.
blues.
All right. The
So
Knicks
they were
have
right.
trotted out different, a lot of different, haven't
Yeah.
they? Like they went dark. All right, that's your uniform
There you go.
talk here on
Chit chat.
97.5. The Fanatic, hopefully they're wearing the color that you like tonight. But what's most important is how do the Sixers get you a win tonight? Now, I got a text from my friend Chris Campbell, who Division III college basketball. I don't know if he was an All-American, but he played.
Okay.
Is that good enough?
Yeah,
He
absolutely
played.
for me.
He insists he's the best of the Campbell brothers, which there are many of them. I played against a few of them.
Is he?
I'll hold out on that because they're our friends. So He says, this will tell us whether Nick Nurse is the right coach or not. We need effort. We need 3-point shooting across the board, and we need to see Embiid on the block every other possession. Now, that kind of goes to what you were saying earlier when we were talking about the effort. And we think of effort of running through a wall, diving on the floor, all of those things. Effort is also playing to your strengths. And I think the Sixers got away from that in Game 4 in the fourth quarter after what Joel Embiid did to Hartenstein in that third quarter. Mm-hmm. What do you think about that? Like, it's kind of overstated an awful lot, but sometimes you have to go what the obvious is. Embiid down on the low post almost every other time. Too much to ask? And we're talking about asks for tonight. Or that's your way to win?
That's maybe the way to win. I mean, I don't think it's too much to ask. Every other play may be an overstatement because I feel like that's a lot. But I get what they're saying. I get what Chris is saying. Let's see him there more because, especially in the fourth quarter, you did not see him there at all. And if he's gassed in the fourth quarter, that's where I post him up. That's when we talk about the difference between the third quarter and the fourth quarter. You got Isaiah Hartenstein to commit 5 fouls in a single quarter. He could not, I've never seen that. 5 fouls in the same quarter?
I've never seen that in any level of basketball that I've ever been around.
It's remarkable.
Yeah.
I mean, it's impressive. That's a great game plan. We're going to take out this guy because he had been hitting those little sky hooks. You've been very frustrated with him. Done. They bring in their small ball lineup of 6'7" and 6'8", and OG Anunoby and Precious Achua. And then it was like, why did you go away from that? I get that he's tired, but be tired underneath the post. Maybe that is the answer. If you can't have any lift, at least be the presence in there on the offense and defense. Offensively, it's a no-brainer for me. If you're struggling and you're not getting the jump shots that you want, go inside. They're going to foul you. They already called you a free throw monger. Then just play into that.
Yeah.
And then on the defensive end, be there as a decoy.
Now, here's the I'll just play devil's advocate here. The ask now is and we're talking about a lot of ask today. You're asking Joel Embiid in the fourth quarter and all game long maybe to run from one block to the other block to block to block. I used to have big men tell me when I was playing, like, all you have to do is run from top of the key,
yeah.
Really hard. You're a guard. We got to go block to block. That's harder. We're running 10 extra feet every possession that you're not running. Does that add up? Is it a doable thing, Aim? Is it doable to say, Nick Nurse, look, Joe, sorry, you're going to have to be on the block tonight, I don't know, 70% of the time. If you're not feeling it, then we're going to have to take you out or whatever. But in order to win this game, that's where we need you. Fair ask?
Fair ask, especially if you set it up in the way that you can save him. I think that's a fair ask, especially in the fourth quarter. If it's a close game, that is a recipe for a win right there, for me, offensively and defensively. But you mentioned earlier, like, any drastic changes, or maybe not even drastic, any changes you would make, and people are talking about, benching certain players and whatever else, changing the lineup. But you brought up the fact that maybe you sputter his minutes a little bit differently so you can save him. Because he played 24 minutes in the second. All 24 minutes, all 12 minutes down the stretch, he was 0 for 5. Obviously gassed. Do you manage the front half of that? Maybe take him out a little bit earlier, bring him back a little bit later. And Ray, of course, and I know you brought up the numbers too, it's been detrimental for them, but there has to be some kind of recipe there that can work. I do think you need to have him. I don't know if 70% of the time, but I'll take 50% of the time on the block.
So we've talked endlessly about Joel Embiid and people coming back saying, how can you blame? We're not blaming. Like, you're always going to look at your best player and more. The 50 game was unbelievable. And the fact that I came on the air the next day and said, I'm sitting at the game saying, wow, that was kind of a quiet 50 points. And that shows how great Joel Embiid is. He had to work his ass off and only scored 1 point in the fourth quarter the other day to get 27 points and 10 rebounds. Like, that's still a great showing by him. He's averaging, 35 this series? It's hard to ask more from him. But you have to.
It's game 5.
Because you're the leader. So we've done all that. So now my question goes another way, Aim. Did you get enough out of Tyrese Maxey on Sunday?
That's a good question. I mean, certainly not down the stretch. I think that some of and that's, when I think it was a caller that called in, you need more offense. Obviously, you need more offense. That's the simple answer. But if you go deeper, some of those shots are going to go in. They had good looks. They were good shots. You have to wonder why. Were they affected? Was it something in the scheme? Were they hurrying them because there were some good looks? Some good shots that usually go in. And Tyrese Maxey's the first one to come to mind. There was the 3. There was the 1-3 where I think maybe you thought he could have driven baseline and done something else instead of taking that 3 early on in the shot clock.
Right.
But there's also the ones where outrunning Josh Hart, whomever's trying to run with him, if it's Jalen Brunson, and he goes up, those shots go in 90% of the time, I feel like. And in game 4 in the fourth quarter, they did not go in. So did I need more from him? The answer is always going to be like, of course you need more because you only scored 92 points. That's the simple answer. Did I think that he was giving max effort? I do. It was disappointed that shots didn't go in. I don't need more from him in the fact that I think he wasn't trying. I need more from him. I need the shots to go in. That's kind of a non-answer, but
no, I think New York had a concentrated effort on when you see Tyrese Maxey breaking this guy down, and you know it's going to be a drive to the basket. Weak side help come over, and let's try to get hands up in the air and make that layup become more of a floater, more of a shot that has to go higher off the backboard.
Right.
And we saw him miss a couple.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember one in particular that he missed. But also what I didn't see was anybody rolling to the basket. And look, if weak side help is coming and I'm a guard and I'm going up for a layup and I see now I beat my guy, so he's on my hip.
Another guy coming.
If I have a guy on my hip and another guy coming, I'm certainly glancing at the lane saying, okay, where can I drop a bounce pass to here? But if nobody's coming there, that's a problem. I think that's something that they have to kind of think of or talk about. Yeah.
Wasn't a lot of movement.
Because, and look, it's understandable because during a season, we saw Tyrese Maxey break his guy down and go in for those one-handed layups, one where he sticks his ass out and he's keeping the defender on his back and getting a layup that way. Like, he does really good. I say this at times, and it sounds silly, but he's a great layup shooter. And that's it. Lou Williams was a great layup shooter. They know how to get themselves open, but they're also good even after contact.
Because they have such good body control.
Exactly.
The shot doesn't look like it's going to go in, but the way that they're holding their body, they can operate in a way that it almost suspends like kind of physics when you think about it, because how are they still in motion but their body's so quiet?
How is it that he has enough strength to shoot the ball from 5 feet away while he's going down? Because, you shoot with your man. Exactly. So it's interesting to me because that's what, the essence of sports. You do something, the other team tries to stop it, well, then how do you counter? Well, to that, mine is when Tyrese Maxey is dribble driving to the basket, I do think New York has made, I think Tom Thibodeau brought it up before Game 4. Look, we need, however he talks.
Yeah.
I don't want to imitate. We have to bring another guy over to change his shot there around the basket. Don't make it easy for him. Well, that's a time. Somebody offensively on the Sixers has to realize, oh, there goes my guy to try to block that shot. Let me get into the lane. And then there's your little drop off there, and maybe some easy baskets come about that way.
Yeah, because, the old saying is if you have two guys on you, there's obviously somebody open. But you have to be able to see them.
Yes.
And I think that when you're driving in, your point is if you're not in the lane or right next to me, sitting over there in the corner, I can't see you. I'm not making a pass. That's going to be a turnover. So that's when we're talking about like the no movement. There's not a lot. You're not giving yourself like find a man, help him out. You see that he's getting gang tackled or at least getting doubled up, or there's now maybe sometimes 3 people in the paint. Even if the one guy hasn't come over, there's got to be someone open.
Somebody has to be.
You as a coach, you're like, oh, look for the open man. Well, also make yourself be seen, right? Give them an outlet, help them out. And I think that certainly in the fourth quarter. I mean, the fourth quarter, I keep going back to it because it was a 20-16 fourth quarter. It wasn't like the Knicks blew the doors off that game.
No, not at all.
They only scored 20 points. The Sixers scored 16, and they didn't score in the last 5 minutes of that one. There was just a very stagnant look. Call it fatigue, call it wearing down of just the mentality of because that's how the Knicks bring it. It's going to happen again. You have to be prepared for it. This is it. Like your season is on the line. If this is not a game that you can get up for, and that's why I don't think that it's going to be like Game 7 for the Celtics last year. I think it'll come out. This team will come out with a lot more energy, a lot more movement, and they won't make the same mistake.
And these two teams are more evenly matched, I would say, right? Yeah.
I thought last year's teams between the Celtics and Sixers were actually matched.
They were, but you also had Embiid coming off the injury.
Yeah.
He couldn't play, so you had.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, last year in the playoffs, Embiid was coming off an injury.
Never heard that.
Yeah, no. I mean, that's not I'm not being mean. Steve on the cell. You're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Steve?
Hi, always a great show, and it's hear Amy every day. Amazing.
Thanks, Steve.
She is amazing.
Thanks, Steve.
So I have 10 season tickets with my company. We sold 8 for both games. We don't know who bought them because we put them on a marketplace. And we got good money for it. We don't need the money, but we weren't interested in going to the 2 games. I went myself with somebody, and I just love the Sixers.
So did mostly Knicks fans pick up those tickets, Steve?
Were you sitting with those people, or was it they're spread out? Your tickets are spread out?
We don't know. We put them on the site.
But you went, right?
I kept the 2, and I took.
So it's not 10 together. It's like 2 here, 2
No,
here. Okay.
we have 4, 4, and 2.
Okay.
Okay, I see. So you took the 2 that were separate. Smart man.
Yes, and they're all good lowers right in the center court, and we got good money for them, so we figured on it. Why not sell them? But my thoughts are that one, the Nick Nurse, I was a little upset with the way he coached because I thought they brought him in to be that guy. And what happened, I think, is the same thing that Doc Rivers would have done. I think they should have played Mo Bamba a little bit more, certainly, than they didn't play him at all, because he is a presence down low. He does block shots, and he does rebound. And if they start him at the 5 and put Embiid at the 4, that would take a less of battling away from Joel. He doesn't go down to that block that much, so let the other guy do it, and Mo Bamba could get some lobs that he could dunk, and then they couldn't double or triple team Embiid because there'd always be someone down low open. My next thought.
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry, Steve. Go ahead.
Yeah, my next thought is I think they should start Buddy Hield because if he feels like he's part of the starting rotation, I think he'll have more confidence and make some shots. And they're going to need something from him to win, and they might as well try it.
All right, thanks for the call, Steve. Appreciate
We're
it.
talking about changes. Those are some drastic changes.
See, you're being positive. I'm going to be negative on this call here.
Okay.
One, if you're just giving away the tickets and you didn't need the money, which he stated, he said they made money, but they didn't need the money, well, then give them to Sixers fans that don't have tickets. I'm sure you have a friend base that you can say, hey, you know what? Jimmy's kids have never been to a Sixers game. They're Sixers fans.
Game?
Let me give them to them. So, fault on them there. Second of all, Mo Bamba, you're going to play with Joel Embiid. Hasn't happened at all this year. Not once, not a single minute. You're going to try it in Game 5 in a must-win, do-or-die game, and now Mo Bamba's going to be a scorer for you from taking alley-oops and dunking and all that stuff and getting your rebounds and blocks. Okay, if Mo Bamba's changed his game drastically over the last few months, great. And I'm not putting down Steve. I'm just stating facts here.
Okay.
And then you're going to start Buddy Hield. I'm glad Steve's not the head coach at the Sixers.
Well, I like he wants to do something.
I agree with you, and you're positive.
Okay.
Change is good, and it has
Change
to
is
happen.
good. So the idea of giving Buddy Hield confidence, there's probably some basis there. I don't know that this is the game to do it, but I think that there is a thought to give him some kind of confidence boost. He's something's gone wrong.
Yeah.
What happened? Because when he first got here in Philadelphia, good times, great. There was so much excitement about he and Joel Embiid. He's finally got a floor spacer. This guy knocks down the 3. It's going to be so great. You just haven't seen it. You have not seen it. And the thing is, it started to creep in even when Embiid was out. And so Buddy Hield was in the lineup, then he was out of the lineup. There was a lot when Kyle Lowry got here. It was done. No more lineup, no more starting lineup for him. It didn't matter. If you go back, you have to go back to January that it really started to kind of, and it didn't even like plateau. It kind of went down.
Yeah.
And then the plateau was a lower level than it had been. And you just wondered what happened. Was it the confidence level? Was it something? I don't know. You'd have to look at the entire season for Buddy Hield at this point because it's so strange when you're looking at where he was and then where he was. Not January, February is what I mean. February of February, good times. March, okay. Not so much.
Yeah, then it's gone down. And it's weird because you would think this role now of not being the primary scorer would be perfect for him. And we couldn't wait for this floor to get spread with him on the court with Joel Embiid. And just nothing's kind of
There's a lot of love for Mo Bamba. It's a little strange for me.
Today is so bordering on, no offense to anyone, of desperation.
Yeah.
And then, I got to think of a better word. I don't want to say ridiculousness when we're talking about Mo Bamba and
there's a reason Mo Bamba was just
those.
out there for the taking.
Notice who we're advocating for.
Yeah.
Who you haven't seen.
Yeah.
The people you have seen have frustrated you.
Yeah, no,
so
that's
you're looking
it.
for anything else.
And you're grasping at straws. I don't. The desperation seems, and maybe you asked me that at the beginning, why do I feel somewhat optimistic? Is it because of how they've played in this series before? These are games they could have won with this. And so maybe people are looking for one minor tweak. I don't know that starting Mo Bamba at the 5 and moving Joel Embiid to the 4, benching Tobias Harris, Kelly Oubre, and Kyle Lowry, and that's the lineup. That's what they're saying.
Yeah. Maybe you get one of the assistant coaches to coach, too. I don't know. You got to try something. Mike on the cell's not real happy with Nick Nurse. We'll get to him when we get back to the break. From the break. Also, we have to figure out what is something we have to see tonight from the 76ers. I talked earlier about I think this series might be bigger for this organization than we even think about tonight's game. But we have to concentrate on tonight's game. What do we need to see? What can't we see from the New York Knicks? I want to transfer our thought process towards New York as opposed to the Sixers, and let's see what we come up with there. Amy Fadul's here with us all day long. Our little ray of sunshine here. Ray Dunn is just Ray Dunn. I'm Bob Cooney, midday shows, 97.5 The Fanatic. Welcome back, middays, 12:30-ish. We are only 6.5 hours away from your Philadelphia 76ers. Look, everybody likes to be liked. We can mess around and be like, yeah, I saw a tweet about me that somebody hates me. It doesn't bother me. Nah, yeah, you like to be liked. So yesterday, I'm driving around after the show, as I was telling you, and Ty's on talking about, like, something that happened with the morning show and going on with them, talking about Embiid and the fans and all. I was like, oh, that's cool. Then I was actually working out back or whatever. I get into the car to go to the store to get something for Outback, and I hear that I'm a sworn enemy of the show. Like, even Ricky said, well, wait, what about Bob Cooney? And Ty goes, done with him. So I started laughing. So I park and I text Ty because you just went on break. And I go, what the hell did I do? And then, so it was a whole thing with Embiid's reaction to the fans. I didn't talk. Amy and I did not talk about it for 4 hours yesterday. Dylan, I did a quick Instagram thing where he asked me a question when I'm running out the door. I even forgot what I said, but apparently I must have said something like, oh, Joel, just win and you don't have to worry about it. So I explained that to Ty, and then he goes on the air and he says, all right, truce has been had. So we're good, Ty.
You good?
Yeah, we're good. We're good. Just to explain, I was pushing to the Instagram. People should be going to 97.5 The Fanatics Instagram page every day.
There's good content on there.
There's good content that's
Exclusive,
separate from the on-air content.
Yes.
So I wasn't actually referring to anything you said on the air with Amy.
Yeah.
Yes.
At all.
But
well, I'm not on Instagram.
I noticed that because I try to tag you when I take my Instagram.
I
nothing.
So I didn't. I honestly, I had no idea what you were talking about because I forgot that I did that with Dylan. I didn't even know what the subject was.
Yeah, and it had nothing to do with Game 4 where we know Embiid failed. It was the fact that, and this isn't an opinion, he had 50 points in Game 3, and a lot of fans said, you know what, I'm good on this playoff game. And so when he said do more, I was like, I was just asking a rhetorical question, kind of. How many points would Joel Embiid have needed to score in Game 3
for you
to make fans who had playoff tickets to actually go to Game 4? 60, 70?
Yeah, right.
Like, if 50 was not in Game 3, which happened.
You didn't want to see the follow-up to that.
Right. Now, we know but you didn't know that before. Now, people will say they knew that, but we didn't know they were going to lose Game 4 before they lost Game 4. Like, the gap in the 4 games is, 4 points right now. Net points. It's Knicks plus 4 in 4 games. Like, it's been a close series. Like, even you talked about it a lot yesterday, Amy, about how, despite of how bad it was, you even talked about it a little bit earlier today, it was still a close game throughout the whole time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it was still winnable. So it was a rhetorical question of how many points in Game 3 would you have needed to go to Game 4?
Yeah, it's crazy. So let me ask you, just real quick, who you okay with? Who you still out on?
On the team?
No, here.
In this on 97.5 The Fanatic, the people that work here, who I would say it's easier to say who you're out on. Are you still out on the morning show?
Yes.
Totally out?
Yes.
All of them, Connor included?
No.
Okay.
Not Connor.
Oh, all right.
Connor's solid.
So just, I called them today. They were Ozzy and Harriet to me. I change their names every day. Just those two?
Yes.
Okay. Everybody else is cool?
Everybody else is cool.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
everybody
Fair
else
enough.
is cool.
Okay.
Everybody else is cool. Amy, people asked about Bill. I said, Amy, come on. And
you were at the racetrack with Bill.
Yeah. And Bill, rock solid, right? I was with him on Sunday.
Right.
It's really just them. And I think it's normal for the afternoon show to go on the morning show. I think it's a tradition in this business.
Okay. And you're carrying it well.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
but
your
I
banner.
mean, and I was a little worried about the Maxey conversation this morning.
There was some things, that's for sure. So
23 years old, averaging 29. I'm going to go like this. Probably not the biggest problem. I'm going to go like this. Like, go throughout the whole league, find the 23-year-olds who average 29 a night. I'm going to say that whatever the team is, not just the Sixers, not the biggest problem.
Yeah, you got something going on good there.
Probably something positive. That's a positive.
Probably we're going to be okay.
It's good to be back on your good side.
Listen, you're the greatest, Bob. All right, you're the greatest. All right.
Well, you're
the
really
greatest.
back on the
ain't
good
true.
side.
No, Bob's been the greatest. A sportsman from way back. Amy, a sportsman from way back as well. I'm just glad to be surrounded by these sportsmen.
That's right. That's what we
Makes
do.
me very happy.
Talk a lot of sports because we know a lot of sports.
Know a lot of sports. And knowing the sports is supposed to be half the battle. Now it's 3/4.
It should be almost all the battle.
Yeah, because that's what they used to say at the end of G.I. Joe when I was a kid.
That's right.
Because knowing is half the battle. It's much more than that now.
That's a good point.
So I hope you guys.
You're the
Really?
best.
Well,
you can't wait to hear from
Yeah,
you.
I appreciate you. The fans have quit. Let's say they win real fast, and then I'm going to run. Let's say they do win tonight.
Mm-hmm.
What's the crowd split Game 6?
Probably similar. to what it was Sunday. Yeah,
I think.
Really?
I think that it has to get to round 2 for people to come back. Because I don't think the Naptown fans would show up in droves the way the Knicks fans have. So then they would go to the games because, like, no one's buying it.
Oh, Indianapolis.
Right?
Yeah.
The
and if you're
Naptown.
selling them, you're selling them to other Sixers people.
At
So.
that point.
Sounds
I agree
close.
with
But
you.
I think Game 6 will be about the same. So they have to win this series to win people back.
Yeah, probably. Well, I think if they win, no matter who they play next series, it'll be mostly Sixers fans.
Yeah.
Because you want the audience to buy your tickets.
Yeah, the Bucks. I'm assuming the Pacers are going to win. Maybe I'm jumping the gun.
No, I agree with you on
3-1
that.
right there.
Yeah, I think they're going to win.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right,
thanks,
Ty,
guys.
you're the
All right,
best.
thanks,
Thanks,
Ty. We'll
buddy.
see you
Much
at 2.
appreciated.
Coming on at 2.
That is funny that you have a 23-year-old averaging 29 points in a series.
What else can he give us?
People are going so far in different directions in this game. You know, we talked about the desperation stuff, and then we talked about people just looking into the future. It hasn't really been okay, here's what you need to do tonight for the game. Mike on the cell has an idea. Mike, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's going on?
Yeah, I was wondering, how does Nick Nurse get a free pass on all this? I mean, he got one game where he didn't call the timeout. He got another game where it took 3 games for Campaign, who's experienced, to get in the game. And then Buddy Hield gets a turnover or a steal, and he takes one shot, misses it, but that's okay. And then he yanks him. So how's he supposed to get any confidence? How's he supposed to get any, get on a roll if you're not in there that long?
I hear you on that, and I'm not here to give Nick Nurse a free pass.
Yeah,
We've questioned everybody about it. Has what he's done in this series, and it's hard to say it when it's 3-1, right, Mike? But has he done some goodness of this series also?
Yeah, sure he has. So is Doc Rivers. They have the same amount of championships.
Okay, thanks, Mike. I appreciate it. I don't know what that meant, but I
There's a lot of
look there. Yeah,
that.
you have to wonder about Nick Nurse. I called it out after game 2. Amy, I think we both you said it in the press conference where you say, okay, the idea is to get the ball in fast, and then if not, call timeout. Okay, you couldn't get it in fast. Why was your guy not totally suited into saying, yep, all right, there it is, timeout?
Yeah.
I mean, 90% of us were sitting on our couch going, timeout, timeout, timeout. It wasn't an easy pass. The other day, a play that stood out in my mind where you needed Kyle Lowry to make a foul shot and miss the second. I knew it. 90% of you guys out there watching the game knew it. He turns to Nick Nurse. I'm missing the second. He turns to what I thought was all his teammates, and Tyrese Maxey didn't know it. Does that fall on Nick Nurse?
Some of it does.
Yeah, absolutely, right?
I think some of it across the board. You're not going to give – when you're down 3-1 in a series, there's no one that is immune. There's not a single player, not a single coach, nothing that is immune from any kind of disparity. I will take a little exception to the Buddy Hield thing because he played 11 minutes the first game, took 2 shots.
Yeah.
He played 15 minutes the second game, took 3 shots. So he's given him the chances. He did yank him from the game on Thursday, which was game 3, but it didn't really matter. So, I mean, yes, no. Buddy Hield has that role. Campaign comes in there. He played the total of 3 minutes going into game 4.
Right. He didn't play he didn't play game 3.
No. He played
so do you
2.5
commend
minutes. And then it's like,
Nick
Nurse. I made the change. I gave him 11 minutes. He rewarded us with the points.
Yeah,
or 13 minutes, and he gave us 11 points.
I think Nick Nurse is a good coach. That doesn't mean I'm going to absolve when I see things that I don't agree with.
Agreed. Every coach can make mistakes and still be a good coach.
No question. I don't think any of us have given Nick Nurse a pass. If you want to say you haven't pointed out his mistakes as much, well, we asked for the mistakes and all of them that Nick gave us, or I'm sorry, Steve, that he gave us. I think we've talked about them all.
Yeah, I think that there's an overlying. You can have a good coach that makes mistakes and it makes them look bad at times. You can also have a bad coach that does a couple of good things and has a really good team that makes him look better than he is. I think there's a difference there. And I'm going to put Nick Nurse in the good category with a couple of miscues. He's been here for 5 minutes in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, and believe me, we'll be ready to pull that plug if it comes.
Exactly.
If time comes.
There's one more we know about Philadelphia is that we've seen enough.
That's right. Nick and Briar Cliff, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. How you doing, Nick?
Hey, how you guys doing today?
Good.
Just taking the approach one game at a time. I've been most hoping for this series, but I think this series has told me that I can't see them coming out of the Eastern Conference. And I think mostly I'm just looking Embiid's way. It seems like every time he takes the court, there's something going on. Like today's migraines. I don't think they'll ever win with him. I think it's best idea to probably move him in the off season. Going back to like what he said about the fans, he's been here for 10 years. He's never seen nothing like that. Well, I've been watching for 10 years, and I've just been disappointed every year. So, it's a mutual feeling here.
Well, I mean, he was asked a question about whether he was disappointed in the fans. Should he not have been? Like disappointed?
I think the fans have been more supportive from the time they let him, redshirt for 2 years, from him being hurt and getting, called dancing at a club. Like for all the shenanigans throughout all the years, I think everyone's been very patient with him. We get you're disappointed, but then you're saying, quote unquote, it's a sports town. You're damn right, it's a sports town.
Yeah, I think he said this is a great sports town, and that's why he was disappointed, because he said, I love the fans. I'm not calling them out. I'm disappointed. Philly's a great sports town. That's why he's disappointed. That's literally that's basically the gist of it.
Yeah,
it's almost word for word.
I was sitting in the Wells Fargo Center on Sunday morning. It'll got there around 10:30, and you see when the doors open 11:30, all the dribbling in of Knicks fans. Guess what? I don't mean a thing to this playoff series. I was disappointed.
It was just a lot. It was jarring.
Wow, that sucks.
It was jarring to see. I understood it.
Yeah.
I understood why, because it's very expensive to go to the Garden. A lot of people live closer. If you're in North Jersey or even Central Jersey, it's closer to come here. Maybe more affordable. It was a lovely day on Sunday. Whatever the reason is, you sold your tickets because you needed the money. You didn't need the money. I don't care. But at the end of the day, the guy was asked a question, and I thought he answered it pretty honestly. It was a fair statement to say it's disappointing to have your home arena taken over by 40% of your fervent fan base of the opponent.
Yeah.
That's a fair assessment. He's going back, and the last caller going back to things that happened 11 years ago, 10 years ago. Yeah, I mean, you can, if you want to look at the entire Joel Embiid experiment, I think it's paid off in certain ways. He's an MVP, probably should have 2 if you look at really what he's done. He's certainly drawn people to play here. He's been a draw. Process is over. Those times are done. You have to move forward. But we have Game 5 tonight. We're not moving forward yet, Bob. Why does everybody want to push him away yet? He's still playing here. He's the reigning MVP. It just dropped 50.
It's amazing. People looking forward, people looking to go desperation. We're really getting no inside of what tonight's game is all about. Maybe that's Amy and I's job coming up. Maybe that's Amy and my job coming up. Little English went through my head there, Aim. And we'll do that. We'll do that for the rest of the day. We're here till 2 o'clock. Then you get Tyrone, Ricky, and Jen. Best show ever then. Also, at around 1:15, we have a chance. A.J. Brown is speaking down at the NovaCare Complex. We're going to go to that at 1:15 so you can hear what he has to say about the Philadelphia Eagles and his new contract. This is Middays. Amy Fadul here all day. Bob Cooney. We are 97.5 The Fanatic. Bob Cooney and Amy Fadul today. So glad you joined us. So glad Amy is in studio with us once again, as we just have so much fun when we're together.
Yes, we do.
love talking to you guys, you two people. We love you guys hanging out with us also. The positivity that Amy brings to this show is just awesome, so we thank you for that, Amy.
I appreciate it.
Y'all okay in our book?
No, it's not.
Did I use it right?
No.
No.
What, y'all? Y'all? I can't call you y'all?
Okay? No, that's
No.
just a straight up.
You all are okay.
Are y'all okay?
Didn't you
No, I'm
just do
trying
an
to say-
English lesson on the way to?
Did I ask you? I was talking to Amy.
Oh, okay. I see how this is going to go.
Oh, y'all are not okay.
Really?
I don't really say y'all. I just like the shirt.
You know what?
I'm teasing you, Ray. You
no,
know
it's
how
okay.
much I
I'm
love
not
you.
running to your assistance the next time you need it.
That's right. He will stay put.
I'm sitting right here.
That's a lie. He will absolutely come sprinting.
Yeah,
in
I'm going to
here.
come sprinting.
Yeah.
This is my training.
I don't want you
Ricky-
to sprint. I apologize when you have to sprint.
Ricky already came in for his daily pen dose.
I'm going to go out to the
I hit him for
CVS by my house and get a whole bunch of pens for him
No, it's
today.
fun. You get a little visit from Ricky Bowe to come in and get a pen between us.
One of these times he's going to grab the mic. I
thought for sure
feel.
he was,
Yeah,
again.
today he had a look in his
Especially
eyes.
when Ty
once
came
again.
in. I thought,
Did we
oh.
see his swings?
I did.
I did not.
You missed it. So on the pregame show, so they had, it used to be called Home Runs for Heart, and I can't remember what it's called now.
There's
called
some hard hats.
hard hats for home runs. Hard.
Something like that.
I don't want to
She
get it
had the
wrong.
shirt
Ray will find
yesterday.
it for me. So they have it, and it's great. Companies can take part in it. American Heart Association. It's wonderful, and you can have home runs, and two people from your company or whoever is a sponsor, you can come out and hit home runs in Citizens Bank Park. And they actually asked Sean to do it, and he had other stuff because they did the pregame show at 9 o'clock last night. So it was a late night. And it was at 10 a.m. yesterday. And so it was Ricky Batalico and our digital producer, Spencer McKercher, who does a lot of our online stuff on Instagram and everything. So they go out, and Ricky is a pitcher. I will preface it by saying that.
Left-handed hitter too, right?
Yes, he's a lefty across the board, lefty golfer,
Right.
everything. So, not the prettiest swing. So we run it on our pregame show.
Whoa. Slow down when you said that. He what?
Not the prettiest of swings.
Ricky
And
doesn't have the prettiest of swings?
No. Have you ever played golf with Ricky?
I have.
Yeah. So you've seen,
Wait, not with, but the force him behind him.
it's an aggressive
more than
swing.
a couple
He
times.
can
Yes.
crush the drive. I think he played in the same event that Casey Boy played in.
Yes.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
I think he won long drive for like 375. Absolutely monster off the tee. But his baseball swings were bad. So we have a great segment on our pregame show for Phillies called "What is he doing?" Because that's what Ricky says all the time. Like, what is he doing?
Yeah.
Just in general, like just people parking their cars in life. And so it's usually fun stuff around the league. But then we dropped in the "What is he doing?" for Ricky's. I think we posted it on our Instagram on NBC Sports Philadelphia's Instagram. Right? Did you see it there? Or did
I
you
saw
watch
I saw it pregame.
Pregame. It was at one point. It also looked like
Did he
the
hit
batting
any
help-
out?
No. He'll complain about the balls being different. Well,
The
I
bat,
don't know.
too.
The bat only 31.
Yeah.
I did see
More
that
of a
on
wood bat
on-
guy.
Yeah. There was one that was like a dribbler, but it's full extension. But it does not go out. The ball doesn't fall. The camera doesn't follow the ball.
And
But
Spencer hurt himself, I think.
but yeah, I
also.
think he hurt his rotator cuff, which affected
after one
his
swing.
golf game too. But yeah, so it was. But that's the thing. People go up there and have that aggressive mentality. Just, you don't need to try to hit it out of Citizens Bank Park.
Maybe you should have talked to Ricky before he swung yesterday. No. You sound like you have some pretty good advice. I know Sean is a home run hitter. Little 8-year-old, 9-year-old Sean, 10-year-old. Wait, 10?
Nine.
When's 10's coming soon, right?
October. No.
Oh, I thought there was a birthday right around the corner. Maybe that's somebody else's. But, yeah, I think
Ricky,
maybe.
Yeah, Ricky would be the first to say it was not a good swing. He had a lot of elements that I'm sure he had no warm-up and whatever else. But the batting helmet was tiny on his head. It looked like it didn't fit.
Ray, could you poke one out of Citizens Bank Park at any time in your athletic career?
No.
I mean, it's a
Citizens
major
Bank
league
Park.
ballpark.
I mean, it's a 300-foot, 325-footer. I could never. I don't know why. I didn't play baseball. Parents wouldn't let me play baseball when I was little because they had a bad experience with my brother. I think it was just they were lazy. They didn't want to try to get me to a field because they didn't drive. But I was a good athlete as a kid, but I don't think I could hit a baseball for power. Yeah.
I mean, it's tough. That's a tough thing.
Yeah.
A moving object hitting it, that's obviously a tough thing.
MBG, who used to run sales here in our building, who has since switched jobs, she sent me video of her swinging in it yesterday. I was laughing out loud. She's a good little athlete.
It's a fun thing to do.
Who could hit?
I bet I would give of like the people that we're gonna know. Let's see. I don't know. Like here at the station,
Connor could.
Connor played baseball.
Andrew could.
Oh, Jeez, no, we can't give him that credit.
I know. Don't give Connor the credit.
that
He's
credit. I knew
sleeping
we
right
were
now.
going to go
Baseball.
down that path.
Of all
Andrew
the people
could.
that would have
they
like
were all pitchers.
an ability, like
Egan could not.
an ability, who has the most ability, not a guarantee, but
Yeah.
who has the most ability, I think that would be it.
That's a good question. All right, listen, when we get back, we have a segment to go with you. Also, we're going to break a little earlier in the next segment. I know you don't want to hear, but we have A.J. Brown coming up from the NovaCare Complex, speaking about his new contract, speaking about the Eagles. This is Middays. Amy Fadul. I'm Bob Cooney, 97.5 The Fanatic. Yeah, that 12 o'clock hour that we just had, it was brought to you by Service First Heating and Air Conditioning. Get 0% financing for 72 months and a $500 rebate when you purchase a complete heating and cooling system from Service First. Learn more at servicefirsthvac.com. Now, I've just been informed, Amy, the Sixers will be wearing white tonight.
Okay, I like it.
Okay, here's what you're not going to like.
Uh-oh.
So, now, I think Ray is an onion.
Lot of layers.
Did you say you saw Shrek, I'm sure?
Yes.
Yeah. Like my kids growing up, they watch Shrek all the time. You know, Shrek, oh, Shrek, you're an onion. So many layers. So I'm trying to figure him out. So I say to him, he says in my ear, he goes, hey, it came out on the website that the Sixers are wearing white. I said, okay, cool. That's the first time they've worn it this series, right? And he says, yeah, they're waving the white flag.
What?
Amy just dropped her phone in disgust at you, Ray Dunn. This is a Raymond. Yeah, you're Raymond Dunn right now. That's horrible. Why would you say something like that?
That's horrible. I can't believe I said that. A serious mind, and that was my entire belief.
That's the first thing you thought.
No, it wasn't, because I've been sitting here thinking about this for a while, and I was like, oh, what's going to make Bob laugh? It didn't. Bob's very serious about tonight.
He is.
He's all business.
He's locked in.
It's what you do.
He's
man.
obviously joking.
Yeah.
Ray is joking.
No, it's fine. You can attach that to me. You know what? I'll say it. Maybe it'll motivate them. I want to see the energy. Come out there to make me look like an idiot. I do that a lot on my own.
You don't have to
do
it.
Okay.
I need you to do that today specifically. I'm shaving the beard for it. The
Yes.
unlucky
Are
playoff
you
beard
really?
is gone. Yes. As soon as I get home. It's done.
All right, cool.
Forever.
All right,
yeah, so
now I
Until
forgive
get
you.
lazy
I found
again.
the website. There is a website, lockervision.nba.com, and it shows the city edition for the Knicks and the association edition, which is the white edition for the Sixers. That's interesting. I've never seen this before.
Huh.
That's fun.
Very cool. On the text board, I got one. Or no, this is a tweet. We need 60 points at the half to have a chance tonight. If the half is at 50 points or less, it's not good for the Sixers. I think that's a fair assessment. I do think you need to make it a higher scoring game.
Well, that would play into the Sixers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you don't want a low scoring game. Well, I think the shots will come. There were some good looks. They can't. I'm grasping it. Do I sound desperate? I don't want to sound desperate.
No, you don't know.
Okay,
Not
good.
at all.
I
No,
feel like
you're
the
good.
shots will come, though.
Okay, no, that's
Okay.
It could be logical.
Thank
I
you.
wouldn't say desperate. I would say maybe logical. Other people question. Oh, I got to update this. So we announced it this morning. If you weren't with us, is line one working now, Ray? Okay, thanks. If you weren't with us, Joel Embiid did not make shoot around this morning as he's battling a migraine. So we'll see what happens tonight. I haven't seen an update whether he's questionable day to day, whatever you want to call it. And Kelly Oubre also missed shoot around this morning because of a not feeling well.
Yeah.
So 2 of your 5 starters stayed back at the hotel to try to get better this morning for tonight's game.
For Game 5.
Not ideal, but I will say this. In the many years that I've been to shoot-arounds, I've seen players not be there for whatever reasons they are, and many times I've seen them come out, and you would never know that they weren't at shoot-around the night before. So a reminder that at 1:15 we are going to have A.J. Brown. Amy just looked on Twitter.
Yeah.
A.J.'s all excited to
He's
be
excited.
down there.
He's posted on Instagram.
Saying all the right things. I'm so blessed. Look at my jersey up
retiring
here.
in an Eagles uniform. This is his goal. I did pull up the 12:30 injury report. Questionable for Joel Embiid with the injury illness. Probable for Oubre.
Oh, really? Good.
Yeah, so there you go.
Okay. All right. So the bubble
help
guts
you at
are
all?
probably getting a little bit better right now.
There you go.
For Kelly Oubre. All good. Euro John is on the cell. Euro John, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, Bob? I talked to you last time, and I brought up the old school kind of move, the hook shot, and you kind of ripped me like we're talking hook shot.
Yeah.
But I brought up
And
the
rightfully
D.
so.
All right, I brought up the D, and she brought up the stat that Jokic has 245 this year, and Embiid has 27. In the first half, he had a nice little hook shot from 8 feet, but they didn't go back to it. The point I'm trying to make, Bob, is if you look at what Jokic did last night, 0 foul shots. A disgrace what they did. 27 foul shots for the Lakers, 9 for the Nuggets. Jokic took 0 foul shots, but what he did in the fourth quarter, he went in the paint. He got 6 rebounds in the paint because he's around the paint. Just floating around the perimeter. I don't know if it's Joel saying he doesn't want to go in there or if it's Nurse and all these guys not doing these plays. I brought up the play back in the day. Like the cross stream from the Utah Jazz back in the day, when Malone used to get it from 2 feet, little foul shot. He'd either get fouled or he'd put up a little 2-foot hook shot. Why don't they run a little cross screen from the Utah Jazz back in the day to get Joel easy buckets underneath? And why? And I hear the stuff. He's tired. He picked up Brunson full court. You know what it's like to pick up a Brunson full court at the end of the game? That's nonsense. If he's picking up Brunson full court, Bob, he's got enough energy to grab a rebound. What do you think about that?
No, I hear you, John, and thanks so much for the call. I've been aching for the Sixers to have some weak side movement. I've been doing this since Brett Brown was the coach. I don't like when the ball's on a strong side and you have three sometimes players on the weak side that there isn't some kind of movement there. And I wouldn't mind weak side picks being had. Maybe somebody comes from a strong side and you have a weak side coming through. There's a lot of different things they can do. John, I wasn't ripping you last week. We were having fun. I've known you my whole life. I don't know what you're talking about a hook shot. Like, if you're talking Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, I haven't seen that in the league since Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. If you're talking a bunny over your left or right shoulder, to me, that's not a hook shot. That's a layup in the lane.
Right.
I'm not sure what you're talking about. I don't. Do you guys recall Embiid shooting?
There was one
hook shot.
It wasn't a hook shot. I think it was more like an up and, but it maybe from 8 feet out, it looked like a hook shot.
Yeah, like our definitions, John, must be a little bit different on what hook shots are. Like, hook shots to me are Kareem Abdul-Jabbar like.
Hartenstein had a hook shot. Maybe that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, Hartenstein has some weird looking shots. He's got the push. He's got a lot of things going on there. But that's a key tonight also with the Sixers is that we are they have to hold down. They have to hold down what's going on with the secondary guys. Hartenstein can't get 12 points.
No, you might shut down all of those guys.
Right. They might be without Bogdanovich. They might be without Robinson again. You can't allow, like, Deuce McBride can't go off.
No Dante.
No, like Josh Hart, Dante. Like, are they going to get their 10 and 12? Yeah, maybe. All right, they're starters. They're playing 35 minutes, whatever. They should get some points. But yeah, you can't allow that to be override. You can't let Josh Hart get you 17 rebounds.
No.
Yeah, so that's big. Okay, when we get back, A.J. Brown is talking down at the NovaCare Complex. In a few minutes, we're going to pick it up live for you. He's going to talk about his contract, how happy he is, and all that stuff. If time permits, when he's done, Amy and I will be back, and we'll finish out the show for you. This is Middays 97.5, The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Hey, want to tell you 1 o'clock hour. It's brought to you by Ferguson HVAC Lyon Conklin. Attention HVAC contractors for equipment, parts, and supplies. For every heating and cooling job, visit one of Ferguson's counter locations in Bensalem, King of Prussia, Pennsauken, or Westchester. We're still waiting on A.J. Brown.
Yes.
When he comes out to the podium, we will go straight to him as he's going to talk about his new contract, maybe what's going on with the Philadelphia Eagles. He already posted on Instagram how happy he is. I think he was talking directly to you.
He was.
Saying, I'm so excited about this.
He gets to stay here with everyone. You and I.
I said to you, if I was covering the Eagles back in the day, he would be my go-to. He just has that personality to me that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That if you're fair to and all that, I think he's going to be open and honest and probably be that guy. So that's that's something you might want to do if you were on the beat. Okay, and we had somebody say on our Twitter account talking about Sixers need this tonight. We played this game the other day, but they said they need to score 60 or more points in the first half tonight. It can't be in the 50s. It can't be lower than that. They lost a game the other day, 97-92. That reeks of what the New York Knicks want to do. Can the Sixers win a low-scoring game like that also?
I mean, they have. They've won one in the regular season against the Knicks. They won one game.
That was maybe grossly ugly.
That was one of the less attractive basketball games I've ever seen at any level.
15-15 at the end of the first quarter.
So bad. But you asked the question.
Yes, I did.
They have. Was it pretty? No. But a win's a win. No room for comments in the win-loss section. So, yeah, they can. You don't want to. You want to go ahead and show that you have the ability to dictate the game. And if the Sixers are scoring, that is them dictating the game. If it's low scoring, that's the Knicks dictating the game. It works in their favor. To the commenter's point, 60 points on track for 120, obviously, that plays in the Sixers' favor. That's what you want.
You know, we talk about point total when it comes to Jalen Brunson and the shooting averages that were so low in games 1 and 2, 29%, I believe, 16 for 55, something crazy like that. What concerns you more with Jalen Brunson? Is it the point total, or is it the control of the game, or do they go hand in hand?
I mean, they do and they don't, because even though when he was scoring the 8 for 26 and 8 for 29, they still won those games. Was he controlling the game? Yes. Was he controlling the game as much as he did in Game 4? No, obviously not. But no, for me, it's the control of the game, because I think that lends itself then to the scoring. If he's able to control the game in the manner in which he and his entire team operate in the way that we've seen and that they're capable of, that bodes very poorly for the Sixers. To me, it's control. No, that's it.
And my God, is that frustrating?
Yes, because you're having this guy that's just telling you, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to shove it in your face. And it's like I don't want that. I don't want that.
It is.
I don't want any part of it.
I can't imagine playing against that. And a move that he had the other night. Now, he's so frustrating that how he gets you on his back and then he'll stop and you're going into him. Or it looks like he's going left and he comes back right.
Is it the very end of the game?
It is the very end of the game. And you think he's dribbling out the clock. And we talked about microcosms the other day. Well, this was the microcosm of the frustration that he is. And look, God bless him. God bless Jalen Brunson for how good of a player he is, because he doesn't elicit this kind of, I don't want to say hatred, that's a strong word, frustration from a fan base unless he's that good. But, yeah, it's the play where he's dribbling in the lane, and he's in his right hand. It looks like the Globetrotter dribble where, we're just playing keeper. Boom. He switches that quickly. Boom. Goes to his left hand and lays it up right there in front of the basket. And I don't know if it was Embiid. I don't know where. I think Tobias Harris was kind of following him in the lane. But it was just one of those. You have no idea what this guy's going to do, and he's doing whatever he wants.
So crafty. And he's not going to beat you on speed. He knows that. He plays the smartest version of his basketball that he can, and that's what's made him so good. That's why he's a first-time All-Star. That's why a lot of people thought he should have been on Team USA. Still an opportunity, obviously, depending on how that roster shakes out with guys if they get hurt or whatever else. But it'll be interesting to see where he continues to grow, because he showed glimpses of that in Dallas. Obviously, he's got the pedigree coming from college. He's a National Player of the Year and has 2 national championships. There's only a handful of guys that have ever done that, and you're talking about Kareem and Bill Walton and Christian Laettner and Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it?
That's a crazy stat. He is the definition of a winner. He's a guy that will put your team on your back, and he's in the perfect situation. He gets to run the team exactly how he wants it, meaning that it's to his skill set, And he's crafty. He's a crafty guy. Little plays like that. Any coach watching is like, that's just a really smart play because you've lulled them into thinking you're just dribbling the ball out, and then all of a sudden there was no one around him, and he just puts it up and in.
It'll be interesting to see how the Sixers cover him tonight. Now, they had success first 2 games of the series. They went length. And anytime there was a pick up top, they would switch it right away. And sometimes Kyle Lowry would be on him, and, the switch would come right back where you'd have Oubre on him, where you might have a Nick Batum. Whoever, you put length, Tobias Harris. Tonight, I wonder if when those pick and rolls happen, do you jump them? Like, do you jump? We've seen it with Tyrese Maxey throughout the year, whereas they're not just switching, not that clean switch. It's no, both of you jump him. Both of you, if you're Nick Batum and Kyle Lowry, jump him. Make him get rid of the ball.
Yeah, because then it's the element of surprise is too probably simplified, but it is like oh, okay, everybody's right here now. Okay.
Right.
And you have a moment of, not that he's going to panic, but you do have to get rid of the ball immediately because you're not going anywhere with 2 people literally jumping right in front of you to show you, here's your defensive front. What do you got for me? I got nothing right now. I think at the beginning of the game, you have to do that to set the tone. We talked about the fast starts and how important it is, not necessarily in the numerical sense of like a 13-0 lead, though that would be lovely. It's about really dictating quickly that this is your game and not his game. And I think that's why you would do something like that as far as jumping him and really giving them that extra defensive presence.
Right. You have to make it work because as a guard, what you're taught is to break that trap, you either go through it, you can pass around it, you can pass over it. And he is, as you said, Aim, he is so crafty that if you do jump 2 guys at him, I can just see it. Him taking a step back, those guys like closing out like we got him, and then boom, there's that next step right up front because he's playing on that front foot of the defender all the time, watching where that's going to guide his defender, and he's using that against them. And he's just so hard to cover. But you have to try something a little bit different tonight. I'm not saying it's specifically this. Maybe it's something different. This is an idea. But you have lost 3 out of 4 games. You have played close in all of those games. As Ty said, point differential is 4 points going towards the Knicks. It's been very close. Drastic change? Probably not. Slight changes? Probably has to be a definite.
Yeah, I would think slight changes could be managing Embiid's minutes differently, so you have him a little bit more, if that's an option, when you're thinking about some changes. Different guys that you can go to. A lot of talk today has been about Mo Bamba. I love that people are just looking for something. All right. Well, if you're getting crushed on the boards again, maybe you see what 5 minutes of Mo Bamba looks like. You're going to pay for that on the other end, but maybe you pay for it anyway. You're already calculating in your math mind. I'm already going to pay for 5 minutes without Embiid. Maybe I can get something going positively with that. Maybe.
Yeah, no question about that. So the news that we got this morning, as you know, we are the news breaking station and keeping you informed. Joel Embiid and Kelly Oubre both missed shoot around this morning. Embiid was out with a migraine. Oubre out with sickness. Now, further report came out. Embiid is questionable with the migraine. Oubre is probable with the sickness. So we have that going on. Also, what we have going on is the Fanatic Deal of the Week. It's Von C. Brewing Company. Get a taste of Philly brewing history with the Fanatic Deal of the Week. This week only, get a $50 gift card for Von C. Brewing Company in Norristown for just $25. Get this exclusive offer while supplies last at 975thefanatic.com/deals. We are waiting on A.J. Brown. It was supposed to be a 1:15 press conference down at the NovaCare complex, so we are waiting patiently. Some of us, Bob and Amy, are waiting more patiently than others, Ray Dunn, as we try to get this everything rolling on here. What?
If I told you I was showing up at 1:15 and I showed up at 1:26, how would you feel?
You know that drives me nuts because I am never, ever, ever, ever late.
Okay. Now you understand why I'm pacing the studio.
Okay. Well, we're okay. We're going to make it work here. Should I do something different here, Ray? Should we go to break now? Like, what do you want
No,
to
keep rolling.
All right,
Sixers play tonight.
Okay.
Right.
Who do they play? Who do they got?
It's a very big game.
Yeah,
Come on, Bob.
You know, I don't want to do the overview of the organization moving forward.
Yet.
No, we're not there yet, and we don't want to do the desperate. Well, you put it perfectly. It's okay to go to desperation because you're trying something. I just don't think now is the time to be saying, "Hey, Joel Embiid and Mo Bamba should play together." I don't think you can try things yet. Tobias Harris not in the starting lineup. I just don't think – I don't know if that helps a team more than it hurts it when you're doing things that you haven't done all year long. Yeah, so – all right, we'll go to Steve in Cherry Hill. Wants to talk about Jalen Brunson. Steve, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, Bob, it's Steve again.
What's up, Stevie P? How you been?
How are you, buddy?
Good.
No, I love what you guys are talking about. I really do. I do believe Amy hit the nose on the head there. With bottom line is you need to keep him off balance, keep him guessing, Brunson. Don't make it so vanilla that it's easy for him. Just try different things. And if it works, stick with it along the way. I believe they're going to win tonight because of their coach. I have belief in their coach. He's going to make the right adjustments. And Bogdanovich is not playing, apparently, so that's good. I just think I don't see him losing 2 games in a row, Nurse, with this. I think he's going to adjust.
Now,
that's what I feel.
I think one of the toughest things, Steve, you mentioned keeping Brunson off balance. I got to tell you, even though he shot poorly games 1 and 2, I don't ever see him off balance. That's what troubles me.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
You know what I mean? Like, he's just that guy.
Yeah, he's like covering you in high school. You know, you never know, what you're going to get, quite frankly.
Yeah,
But
you didn't know if I was going to
honestly,
play or not.
I honestly think you have to try different things. He's that great of a player. He's a great player, but you got to limit his greatness tonight somehow. And if they do that, I think they have a shot. I also think maybe they should try Bamba for a minute or two just to get Embiid rest or figure something out so he doesn't, have these issues in the fourth quarter as far as exhaustion. They just have to try anything tonight to make this work as far as I'm concerned.
Steve, I'm taking my name out of it. I want to know who's the greatest player you ever played against.
Oh, God, now it shows my age here. I would say Milt Wagner.
Milt Wagner, very good one. Steve, thanks so much, buddy. You know how much I appreciate you. All right, take care.
Good player.
Yeah, he was a senior when I was a freshman.
Milt was?
Milt was, yeah. The closest I came to having an impact on the game when we were playing them was I was sitting on the bench. He took a shot back then, which was unheard of, and almost stepped on my foot when I was sitting on the Camden bench. He was like 28 feet away from the basket, which was unheard of back then.
Yeah, well, no one shot
the
3 like they do now.
No, it wasn't even a 3.
Well, I'm glad he didn't get injured, that you didn't injure him.
It wasn't even a 3.
Because it didn't exist.
I never played with a 3-point line. My last year playing junior college ball, it came in the next year, 3-point line.
There's a lot of records that no, it's not that old. It's not that long ago.
Thank you, Amy.
It's not that long ago.
Don't you shake your head over there, Don.
Well,
I've done nothing. I'm shaking my head.
We had a lot of chatter about that because Caitlin Clark, breaking Pistol Pete Maravich's record.
Yeah.
Pete Maravich, 3 years, no 3-point line.
No.
Like, I want to go back and look at some of the tape and see, like, all right, how far away were some of those shots? Because he was a shooter. Like, he shot from far away.
Yeah.
Maybe get that point tally a little bit more accurate.
It probably would have helped out a little bit, right? Yeah,
3 years, no 3-point line.
I know. That's crazy.
Remarkable.
It is absolutely. I love the translation of games from one era to another. People talk about it all the time. My favorite comparison is Jordan was built to play now. LeBron was built to play then,
That's a good point.
probably. And I wonder if they would have had the same success. And I'm sure they would have.
We talked about it earlier, and then it came up when we were down at the Iverson statue unveiling, like how much Iverson, this game would be much more to his liking as far as the speed, the lack of, I feel like they call the fouls more readily, especially on the speeding guards. I think it plays into his game.
Yeah.
I don't know that he would have enjoyed Twitter and Instagram as much.
Yeah, that would have been a little bit of a drawback, right,
I think he would have enjoyed that. But I think the game would have been a lot of fun to watch him play in 2024. It was obviously fun back then, too.
Yeah, right?
It wasn't like it wasn't fun. It was tremendous. But a little guard like that, just the speediness and the way that they shoot and the way that they play, just the razzle-dazzle. He played in a very physical game. I mean, that was a very physical game.
God, it was unbelievable. And I grew up in that time.
Yeah, those guys
we grew up in
banged around.
Oh God,
And his body probably took a beating. And little guy.
Oh yeah, and that was the thing. Like they mentioned on the air the other day when Brunson went down the lane and Embiid hit him with a forearm shiver. I didn't like it. I thought it was uncalled for. I liked the way Brunson handled it. He waited he was shooting a foul shot later, and he looked at Embiid. He goes, "What was that for? Like, what are you doing that for?" And the announcer saying, "Oh, back in the day, that's what happened all the time." It was, but it's not today. I didn't know.
Right.
All right, we're going to put a thing on this show where no longer do we make fun of my age, because one, I'm a little sensitive, and two, I don't think I don't feel what the chronological thing says I am. No, not you. I'm talking about MBDBDF on our YouTube page.
That's not funny. That's not funny.
Did you see this?
Okay.
Who had a great line? Bob's first concert was Mozart.
Live.
All right, so it's done now. And I'm telling YouTubers, call it. You can't make fun of my age anymore because, as Amy will tell you, I've known Amy for almost 20 years now. I do not act nor feel what it chronologically says I am.
That's true.
So, like, let's stop. I don't like to being referred to as the old timer. You know, like, I never heard that until I came to this station. And I kid you not, I went home to my wife and I was like, oh, my God, people, like, think I'm old. And, like, look, I'm just telling you right now, we're put a moratorium on
No
the
more
age thing.
old chatter.
I don't want to hear it
Till
anymore,
tomorrow.
please. I'm just asking. Okay, we're going to hit a break here. We're going to try, hopefully, get A.J. Brown and his press conference down at the NovaCare complex when we get back. This is Middays 97.5, The Fanatic. Welcome back. Midday shows. Bob Cooney here along with Amy Fadul today and tomorrow.
That's right.
You will be joining us for the... You finish the sentence. Tomorrow, Amy, you will be joining us for the show that we could label the...
Preview for Game 6.
There you go. When you started with the P, I didn't know if you were going to go post.
No.
Okay, you said preview for Game 6. I love the optimism.
I think that they could win this game.
There's no question they can.
Right? I think that it's a legitimate thing.
No question they can.
New York's heart out.
Yeah, why not? I mean, what happened down here on Sunday with New York winning, with all the other things that happened, that would be so apropos
awesome.
if they went up there to Madison
And I
Square
think a lot
Garden.
of people that have, whether it's real or feigned, the apathy, I think that how do you not get back in? If you say you don't want to watch Game 5 because you don't want to, you don't want to have your heart broken, whatever your reason is, and they win Game 5, how do you not watch Game 6 then? Yeah, of course you do. You're back in. That's what's the beauty of sports.
Yeah.
The hope springs eternal.
I can't go there. And the Sixers line tonight, by the way, is only 4. Last few games, it's been 5.5.
Stat for the whole series, right? Plus 4 for New York.
Right, exactly, yeah. I can't go there because, look, if I'm going to be true and try to study this team, this organization moving forward as a fan, as what we do for a living, there's going to be things maybe you can learn tonight. Maybe it's a game where, I don't know, Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey take the game by the throat and get it done. And you say, wow. Like those two are special. And it makes you imagine, okay, here comes Game 6. All sorts of ways that you can learn from tonight's game. You don't learn anything about the organization or fandom or anything moving forward by not watching.
Yeah. You have to watch.
I like watching sports. I understand fans get really hurt by losses. But that's got to go hand in hand with being a fan.
And it does. We've talked about it. That's the fanatical nature. That's where the word fan comes from, because you're invested. The team's invested, you're invested, everybody's invested into outcomes. And when the outcome doesn't go your way, you're hurt. If you weren't invested, it wouldn't matter to you.
That's right.
So,
yep, no question about it. So
that's why I love it.
Just to update you, there was some news from Sixers shoot-around this morning. Both Joel Embiid and Kelly Oubre were absent from shoot-around. Joel Embiid is questionable for tonight with a migraine. Kelly Oubre is probable with some sort of sickness. We are waiting on, which was supposed to be 1:15. We were waiting on. I feel so bad.
What time is it right now, Bob?
It's 1:41, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So we have not gotten A.J. Brown yet. I feel bad for Ray. I can't even look at him, man, because he's making me feel anxious.
I did see that, and maybe some caller said it, Bogdanovich is out.
Yeah, Steve said thought he was out.
They list Robinson is questionable with the ankle.
Okay, so on Sunday, just for those to let those know, Robinson went down on the floor. Woj announced on Sunday, about 2 hours before the game, that he was going to give it a try, and it would be a game-time decision. About an hour later, after he went on the floor and tried it out, he must have gone back and said, I can't go. I would be surprised 2 days later if he's able to, but it is the NBA. Yep. There is some work that gets done, and guys get better quicker than the average human being. So we'll see what happens there. But Bogdanovich not being there.
Even if Mitchell Robinson plays, he's definitely hobbled.
No question. All the more reason that, hey, Joe, here you go.
Attack the big guys.
Exactly. I think that's something we're going to see early and often. I think it's something that we need to see early and often. I want to see a confident Tyrese Maxey. Mm-hmm. I want to see, if you step back and you're open, that you take that. I want to see it go in, too, because that makes it look a lot better.
Yeah.
The drives to the basket, like I said before, if they are coming over to W, making you making you shoot a different type of layup than you're accustomed, because two guys came over, well, then you got to look at that dump-off pass. Just little things like that Nick Nurse, I'm sure, went over 1,000 times before I even thought about it. Those are the type of things we need to see tonight.
Yeah, and I think when you're talking about especially Tyrese Maxey, when he's going to face that double, when they crowd the lane and he's going to try to do one of his razzle-dazzle moves, make that pass, but also for the teammates, make yourself available.
Absolutely.
That's like the number one thing. You can't have one without the other. And I think that that's something that you always hear, certainly as coaches, like make yourself available, make yourself known. He has to be able to see you. And also get all on the same page. The mental mistakes and miscues cannot happen in a game like this. Not just about rebounding, but about knowing the situation, knowing what's going on. This is going to be a very tightly contested game. All games for this series have been. So you can't make little things, little errors here and there because they will start to add up. No silly passes that almost go out of bounds where the guy has to try to corral it. No bad lobs, no bad inbounds, nothing like that. No lack of awareness about what's happening. Everything has to be so much more controlled and fine-tuned because this is it. Every game's an elimination game from here on out.
Yep.
Their backs are against the wall.
Yeah, no question. So I think good luck will be brought to us as far as getting A.J. Brown if we go to Uncle Frank. Uncle Frank, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, buddy?
Hey, happy Trepidation Tuesday, team. What do you say, Bobby?
How you doing, buddy?
Hi, Frank.
I'm great. I wake up, I'm great. So Frankie Gallup put a poll out. What scenario? I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just clueless anymore. I'm confused. You know, if you had to put a poll out, the Knicks close it tonight, the Sixers sweep, or the Knicks win in 7. I mean, where do you go? Because I'll tell you,
Where do you go?
I'm in a conundrum. I don't know. I'm in a conundrum. I don't have a feel. Like Amy said, you know, if they could, all right, if they could, and they have been contested, if they could play a smart, disciplined, mistake-free, and have a hell of a 1-2, then yes, they can win tonight. Them sweeping, them winning out the rest is stretched.
It's going to be tough, Frank. So much for the call. Thank you so much for the call, Frank. Appreciate it. He brings up something interesting. Just popped in my head as he said it. He mentioned all these things Sixers have to do, like no mistakes and do this and do that and do that. Is that so much lesser for the Knicks? Like, if you looked at the Knicks, could you say, yeah, they don't have to do all these things. Great, they can still just win the game. Is it lesser for the Knicks? Are they that much better right now than the Sixers?
I don't think they have lesser. They haven't been doing a ton of things right or wrong. It's not like they're controlling the rebounds and they have Jalen Brunson. I mean, other than that, it's not like they're winning all these. They're not shooting better than the Sixers overall. They're not outscoring them. It's a 4-point differential in 4 games. That's massive when you think about how this series has gone. So they don't have as many things to worry about because they haven't been doing that many things as wrong or as right. They have their things they do, and they're just supremely gifted at them.
That almost scared me a little bit how you just laid that out there.
Like
it put it out that, yeah, New York doesn't have to do a lot of things in order to win a game. They just play their game
they
and
do their
they
two
could win.
things and they dominate those 2 things.
Yeah.
It's Jalen Brunson and rebounding. That leads to other stuff. Go ahead, Ray.
They've done more right when they needed to.
Yeah, down the stretch.
I think that's really what it comes down to. I like the execution by and large. You're like, yeah, okay, you know, it's either way. It's just down the stretch, and that's to me they've done more right in those situations. That's put them in this situation to potentially move on tonight.
The little plays that have become big plays in games have totally gone. I shouldn't say totally. Have mostly gone in the favor of the Knicks, right? Like a offensive rebound, like a key turn.
Right.
Like a silly turnover, offensive
lucky
foul.
Bounce.
Yeah.
Two lucky bounces.
Yeah, exactly. It just seems that those little plays, when you look at it as a whole, they seem little, but in the moment are big. They just seem to have gone New York's way more times at tip-ins, loose balls.
Block a shot to themselves. They block a Sixer shot, and it goes right to a Knick.
Josh Hart had a block the other day, which was spectacular in the lane.
Right at the rim? Oh, no. Yeah.
Yes,
right.
But here's why it was more spectacular, Aim. Josh Hart's right-handed.
Yes.
He blocked that shot with his left hand. He's
6'4", by the way.
Exactly. I'm not talking people. I'm not being snotty. If you never played basketball, maybe you don't know. Everybody out there, you know what that's like. Going with your opposite hand.
Doing anything.
To get a powerful block with your left hand when he had to contort his body because he originally, it looked like was going up with his dominant right hand to block and then changed it to his left. That was one of the better plays of that whole game that I saw.
That's emblematic of everything that Josh Hart is and who he is to this team. And so when you look for him to translate somewhere else, I don't know. You hope that he would be that guy. I think that that's how they play.
Right.
They ask for him to do one thing. We need you to be active on the boards, active defensively. Done. Say no more. He averages, 45 minutes? He's playing all the time.
Yeah.
His points are, minimal. 8 points. Obviously, he's had some good games in this one. 17 rebounds. 17 rebounds for Pete's sake. 5 offensive. They're preposterous numbers from anybody, much less a guy that's 6'4", that is seen as a clear role player. He's not a role. If he's a role player, then he's the best role player on their team.
He might be the best in this series when all is said and done. Al in West Philly, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Al?
Yeah, I'm listening to you guys, right? And everyone.
Well, thank you for that.
Yeah, and everyone has. I listened to Amy. Her reason of what would help win this game tonight. The main thing for me is second chance points.
Can't allow.
We can't let one guy have 17 rebounds and the other guy have 16 rebounds. Second chance points cannot happen.
I agree with you. And you know what, Al? They're so much bigger during the game, and thanks so much for the call. They're so much bigger during the game because of the frustration level it brings you. Like that fourth quarter, we hated it. It was a 2016 quarter, but we hated it because they just kept getting offensive rebound after offensive rebound after offensive rebound.
And then it was offensive rebound. There was one play, and you and I talked about it yesterday. What was emblematic? Like when you had one play, and then mine was a series of plays. And it was Joel Embiid had the block and went right back to a Knick player. Good times you got the block. Didn't matter because the Knicks got it again. They went up. Achua missed a bucket. They got the rebound. Anobi got the rebound right there, and then he put it back as for a dunk. That was what it was like. Really? You had 3 bites at the apple. It's the end of the frustration, and it was a 4-point game at that point that you couldn't get that over the hump. That was what drove me insane.
Didn't that Anunoby, didn't that partially get blocked also?
It did.
Like he went up and it kind of got knocked away, and he grabbed the rim and it went in. Like I was thinking, like, oh, do you got to look at that? But I think his follow through, his hands hit the rim and the ball went in.
I know what. Yeah, that's exactly what.
Yeah. So many things that the Sixers have to control tonight. It makes me nervous that we bring all that up. All right, let's switch it to the other way, Aim, like I said I wanted to do to you earlier. If you're the Knicks and you're looking at the Sixers, what do you have to control tonight?
You have to control Joel Embiid. I mean, that's their game plan. Obviously, they want to limit Tyrese Maxey in ways, and I think that they did that. I think they're going to go with that same game plan, crowding the lane because he can't get his, usual razzle-dazzle kind of layups. But, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a secret. Joel Embiid. And maybe the strategy is that they have to play him. They force him to play 40 minutes.
Yeah. I was wondering because it came through my mind earlier.
There's no.
I don't know if they said let's play Joel Embiid straight up. He's hurting. He can't play 48 minutes. All of those things. Let's play him straight up with our smaller lineup. Let's make sure we take away Tyrese Maxey. Let's not let him get wherever he wants to go. Let's concentrate on the other guys. Let is not a word you can use in a playoff series.
Right.
You're not going to let Joel Embiid get his 35. But okay, let's play him straight up. I think could the Knicks say that?
I think there's a big danger in any capacity of Joel Embiid being for an opponent to play them straight up. You've seen it. It's never worked. I don't care if he's out there on one leg, and I know he's been dealing with injuries. Joel Embiid straight up is a bad idea. You'll get all your guys in foul trouble. So if that's then go, yes, I love it. But straight up Joel Embiid, they can't bang with him. They just can't do it.
Yeah, and especially tonight, we don't know about Mitchell Robinson. It looks like it'll be the same thing as Sunday. He'll go out, he'll try it out, and if he feels like he can go, lateral movement with big guys like that, especially when you're covering a Joel Embiid, is so important. So if he goes out there and the coaches look at him and say, like, it's just not there, he might not go. Bogdanovich is out for tonight, as we've already found out. So, it's going to be a shortened New York bench. It's already a shortened Philadelphia bench. They're shortened more by injury. Philadelphia shortened more by lack of good play,
right?
Maybe. For those who didn't hear earlier, and perhaps you did, but Joel Embiid and Kelly Oubre both missed shoot-around this morning. Oubre is probable with a sickness. Embiid is questionable as he's dealing with migraines. And, we got some teasing going on the YouTube page today, like, oh, no kidding, Joel Embiid's again. Look, he's got Bell's palsy, and I think one of the side effects.
Yeah, it started.
Should
he
I
said,
say is
around the Heat game, and that was when the Bell's palsy started. I'm not a doctor. I'm not entirely sure, but
no, you're very smart though. But yeah,
play one on television.
We are not. Yeah, we're not going to give you that degree
Thank you.
just yet. So we'll see how that all plays out. Ray, what do you got?
Well, just when you're talking about how to start against Embiid and how the Knicks should go today. If I'm the Knicks, I try and frustrate him in the first 5 minutes. He's already dealing with the migraine. He's already, down 3-1 in the series. Nick Nurse wrote about this literally in his own book about how to beat the 76ers and beat Embiid. He likes to ride the waves. And if you can get that Madison Square Garden rocking and you can get him frustrated, upset the first 5 minutes, if I'm the Knicks, that's my ultimate choice. You've been able to figure it out late and close games where you fell behind early. I would throw everything at trying to frustrate Embiid early on and try and just really, really beat him down in a day where he knows he needs to be great to keep his season alive.
And I was surprised they didn't do that more in Game 3. When he did the holding of the legs and stuff like that, I would have gone after him. I would have. I said it the other day, right? I would have gone to guy number 12 and say, hey, go out there and throw a couple shoulders and, be a little, not dirty, but.
Well, speaking of dirty, because the New York media has been, and the fans, all over after the Mitchell Robinson incident and Hartenstein or whatever. I'll be interested to see how he likes to play the villain.
Yeah, he does. He does.
I like
all right,
it.
Listen, we'll be back tomorrow to talk all about this. You got the best show ever coming up with Tyrone, with Ricky, with Jen. A.J. Brown, hopefully he's getting to the podium. I don't know. Maybe he ran a bad route and got a penalty, and he's sitting it out for a little while. But he'll probably be on the best show ever at some point. Amy and I will be back here tomorrow with you, give you Sixers analysis from Game 5. We'll talk to you tomorrow, everybody. Thanks for joining us.